zone. He's got Simpkins caught in for the touchdown. Deshaun Simpkins with the snag.
Looking left to Sims Marshall. Home run! Decker, Jalen Marshall! He's got a touchdown!
Good evening from Fairfield's Alumni Stadium. I'm Geoff Kim. Kyle Decker to join me in just a moment. Lakota West stays unbeaten in 3 tries, pitching a 33-0 shutout at Sycamore a week ago. Meanwhile, Fairfield lost a tough one late in the final seconds at Hamilton last week, 28-25. The Indians are 1-2 after going a robust 10-2 a year ago. So as we bring in Kyle, let's talk about the host team. The Indians a year ago had the league's best offensive threat in Jutan McLean. His 1,800 rushing yards went to the University of Kentucky. McLean's replacement at Fairfield is a surprising one at a different position.
Big shoes to fill, as you said, Jeff, but the freshman sensation, Talon Fisher, is leading the GMC through 3 weeks in rushing. Yes, Jeff, you heard me. Freshman, quarterback, and leading rusher in the GMC, Talon Fisher. So very surprising through 3 games, but he is a sensational talent, as I said, and can't wait to see him in person tonight.
Absolutely. And meanwhile, Lakota West has pitched 2 shutouts in 3 attempts this year. I know that's a baseball analogy, giving up just about 13 points so far in the season. Can they make it a third tonight?
I did a little bit of quick math. In over 3 games, an average of 4.3 points a game allowed by the Firebird defense. Let that sink in for a second. 4.3 through 3 games, almost like the Cincinnati Reds pitching staff. But great. The scary thing is Coach Bolden said in this week's show on Chatterbox Live, he said the best is ahead, and they still have not arrived as a defense, which is very, very scary.
It certainly is, and you and I were down on the field before the game tonight. You and I got a chance to see Jair Brown and Alex Safari up close. Of course, Brown is going to Ohio State. He's a 4-star prospect, and depending upon who you ask, he's the top cornerback in the state of Ohio. You look at Alex Safari and what we saw out of him, hard to imagine that he's far behind him, if at all behind him.
Yeah, we saw quite the slew of secondary last week with LaSalle. And I'll tell you what, the Lakota West guys walking on the field, as you said, Jair Brown, Alex Safari, they have dudes. They have length. They have size. They look the part. Their defense, it's not just them, from the linebackers to the front 7. I mean, they held a lot of defenses to 0 points, as we mentioned, and below 100 yards. This defense is dominant.
The last time these 2 schools met, it was a blowout in Week 5 last year on September 27th of 2019 at Lakota West as Fairfield won 33-7. Jutan McLean, we mentioned him here in the open, scored a hat trick of touchdowns in that one of 10 yards, 48, and the game winner with 68. The GMC Offensive Player of the Year last year ran the ball 18 times for 182 yards. So this comes back to what we were talking about with Fisher. It's almost like it doesn't matter the position or the age. I mean, last year it was a senior running back. This year it's a freshman quarterback. They know how to run block clearly here at Fairfield.
Yeah, and let's give the guys up front some credit. They have a good offensive line, some returning eldermen that is up front, and they can push the ball forward. And having a guy that's as athletic as Talon, along with the other things, you're going to see a lot of them trying to establish the run. You're going to see Lakota West, trying to stop the run. And it's going to be a great battle to watch up front between that offensive line for Fairfield and the defense in front 7 of Lakota West.
Well, if there's going to be anybody that's going to understand how to defend Talon Fisher tonight, it may very well be Tom Bolden. So Bolden had Talon's dad on staff for a number of years. So, he saw Talon literally grow up before his eyes. So if you're going to size somebody up, well, you might as well size them up year by year by year, right?
Yeah, he's Coach Bolden. It was fun to listen to him this week talk about that relationship and seeing him grow up. And tonight, as a freshman, he's going to be on the big stage against Tom Bolden, who he watched coach with his father. It's good. It's just what a great story, right? I mean, for a freshman to have that much of success early on in his career and to go against a coach and a man he looked up to.
Let's look at the tail of the tape while we have a few minutes. We normally don't get a chance to really assess this, especially in a pregame, but we have a few minutes, so let's do so now. Right now, of course, Lakota West comes in with a record of 3-0. And, of course, if you listen to our guys here on the Chatterbox Sports platform, they think that Lakota West is the number one team amongst all the teams that we have seen against their own conferences this year. They're about ready to take the field. Meanwhile, Fairfield is 1-2 on the season. And as we had mentioned last year, a really great team last year. In fact, they were mere seconds away a year ago from having a regular perfect season. And then Chetan McLean went out in Week 10, and their ability to move the ball changed a little bit, actually more than a little bit, quite drastically, if we're being quite blunt with it. And they still made it to the second round of the playoffs. Here, a little different team. In fact, it feels like they're a little bitten right now from the bad luck bug.
Yeah, I mean, I call it flip the switch. I think, last year Fairfield was loaded with seniors and eldermen that were able to come into play and were all GMC, first and second team. If you look at what the honorable mentions and everything, they were loaded with talent. Now this year, vice versa, Lakota West is loaded with talent, and a young Fairfield team is going to try to upset them tonight.
So both teams about ready to take the field. We'll tell you this, in regards to like what you just mentioned with the records, some of the other things that are notable stats, and here comes Fairfield. The Indians come out with the camo tops tonight. So this is a squad that is averaging 303 yards on the ground this year. That is tops in the conference.
Yeah, as we said, best defense in the league, in my opinion, with Lakota West. Obviously only allowing 13 points, as we said, and the best rushing offense. I mean, couldn't be any better tonight. I'm super, super excited, like I said, to see those big guys up front battle, and then the athletes try to stop each other on the skill side as well.
And to your point on defense, right? You look at the yards allowed so far. Only 148 yards allowed per game for Lakota West this year, including just 55 yards on the ground. That is the moneymaker for Fairfield, right? So something's got to give tonight. Whether it's going to be a hemorrhaging of yards for the visiting West squad, or it's going to be a little bit of a reduced output tonight from Fairfield offensively.
In talking with both coaches and listening to both, I talked to Coach Krause this morning, and at the end of the day, you're right, Jeff. They are going to load the box from Lakota West defensive side, try to stop the run, and try to make Talon beat them with the arm. And he does not have a throwing touchdown this season. So that's going to be really, really, really key. And vice versa on the Fairfield side, they have 3 sophomores in the secondary. I think you're going to see an opportunity for young Mitch Bolden as well. He's only a sophomore. So we got a freshman versus a sophomore here. And try to extort with some of the athletes and size on the outside. I think they're really going to attack the secondary of Fairfield.
They certainly are, as both teams get on the field, and we're about ready to see special teams, and it's going to be the home team, Fairfield, that'll take the ball first tonight. So Fairfield, defensively ends. We're trying to see numerals in between the camouflage, and this is going to be part of the problem. We can tell you that Trent Stevenson is one of the deep backs, along with Jaden Mays. Mays is to our near side. And we'll see the kick coming from Matthew Howard. So Howard from his own 40, 5'11", 160 pounds, a senior. He looks to his own sideline. We're just mere moments away from the start of this one. Fairfield and Lakota West. Glad to have you along for week number 4 here in the GMC and here in the 2020 high school football season. Here's Howard on the approach, and away we go. A pinwheeling kick taken on the near side by Mays. Moving to the 10, gets his footing back at the 15, spun around and taken out of bounds at the 17-yard line, and that's how we start 1st and 10. And speaking of Fairfield on offense, we'll see the guy that we just mentioned leading the league in rushing so far this year, Talon Fisher.
Talon, the Fisher sensation, the freshman sensation. He already has close to 600 yards rushing, leading the way above the likes of William Engel and Nolan McCormick. For a quarterback, once again, leading as a freshman, leading the conference is incredible.
So here comes Fisher. And the give, actually, he'll keep and maybe gain a yard. So it's Talon Fisher, who has passed for 147 yards on 13 of 27 passing. Begging your pardon, 13 of 25. That's 52%. No touchdowns, as my partner has mentioned. 2 interceptions, a rating of 85.4. Malik Tate opens up at running back, and we'll give you the others here in just a moment. Well, actually, they're still in a protracted huddle, so let's give you those other guys. Jaden Mays is a receiver, so is Nate Hanna and Trent Stevenson. And we'll also see James Thomas at a tight end spot, and we'll give you the offensive line in just a moment. Second down, we'll call it 9. They motion at a tight end to the right, and they give to the running back. Up the middle, the dive play for a few yards on that. So Tate with a couple on that play. The offensive line, Brandon Smith, Connor Snively, Ethan Tyler is the center, Kendricks Goodman, and Augie Groh on the right side of the line. Defensively, it's Andre Profit, Anish Vyas, and Brian Henderson. So it's a 3-man front for Lakota West. Quasi Jones, Aiden Miller, Jason Kuwach, and Cam Vargas are the linebackers. Alex Safari, Hollywood Brown are the cornerbacks. Silas Walters and Will Barber are the safeties. Third down, and we'll call it 7. Just a minute and a half gone by in this one. As the quarterback rolls right, and now we'll keep. He'll move up the field, out towards the 30. He's got the first down.
Big-time run on a third down, big-time third down conversion. You go trips left, and that's smart for a young quarterback, is to really look at getting to throw to his front side and his arm. So if it's not there, once again, he's able to drop it off, which is an easy pass on his front side, and he was able to go, nothing was really there, and he was able to go sniff it out. Great run.
Aiden Miller from his inside linebacker spot got the tackle, but not before we move the chains. First and 10 at the 31-yard line. They had needed 7 before that, and they picked up a few more after that. They motion Mays. He turns the corner across the 30 and down towards the 32, maybe the 33-yard line.
You're going to see a lot of that tonight. Coach Crass told me this morning they're going to try to get him more touches. He is arguably the fastest, Jeff, in the GMC from a speed perspective. He is super fast, big-time talent, already has offers from the likes of Kentucky and Pittsburgh. Jaden Mays is going to be a big impact player tonight.
Well, in all the service academies, right?
Yes, sir.
Air Force, Army, Navy. So Mays a year ago had 685 total yards. Now keep in mind that this was a run-oriented offense a year ago. He plays from the slot and as a wide receiver, and he still gained 685 despite the fact that he had the Offensive Player of the Year on his team too. Deep drop for the quarterback, and they sniffed that one out. And that's what you're probably going to see a lot of tonight. If you're trying to throw in space against Lakota West, those safeties and those corners will play very tight.
Quick tiger screen, trying to get on the short side of the field, quick throw. Once again, trying to get Talon comfortable. I think early, easy completions per se is a great opportunity for Talon to get comfortable against a stout defense. And at the end of the day, they're trying to set themselves up for second and medium, third and short. Very, efficient and convertible downs.
3rd and 8 at the 33-yard line with 9:06 left to go here in this opening period. Just getting underway. And the roll left by the quarterback, Fisher, looking to throw, and we'll hold on to it. Now we'll throw, and it's complete out of the 40-yard line, fairly close to where he needed to be for the first down. Trent Stevenson on the reception, his 7th of the year.
I don't know how he fit that in there. Well, great ball. Was able to scramble towards the sideline. Looks like they're going to be just short, but great ball. Way to try to make a conversion there.
The punter tonight is Jaden Mays. So he is a Mr. Everything on this team. You'll see him defensively, offensively, as we had just seen. He punts for this team. He's also the holder on this team.
Man, all can do. Willie Mays Hayes, he can kind of do it all.
Well, that tells you the kind of hands that he has. So he has it, and he'll rugby style it out to the far side, and it's taken out at the 33. So Davis on the return, and away we go here for Lakota West. 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. As we see Mitch Bolton come on out here to get his Fairfield Indians up and rolling.
Yeah, Mitch Bolton, he has been super efficient. 7 touchdowns, 1 interception last week against Sycamore, as you can see there. 13 of 19 for 176 and 4 touchdowns. 0 turnovers. He takes care of the ball, makes efficient plays. As a coach's son, growing around football his whole life, doesn't really surprise me.
So after a punt of 29, they exchange the field. Quarterback actually giving off the jet sweep, and the runner falls down. Malik Tate So he came around on the jet sweep to the left and may have lost a yard on that one. So it's, beg your pardon, I misspoke. I was looking at Tate. It was, who we're seeing? 5, Adrian Davis, beg your pardon. So Adrian Davis is one of the wide receivers. So Bolden is 25 of 55 passing this year for 45.5%, 352 yards on the season, 7 touchdowns and an interception. He's got a rating of 137.6. So 2nd and 10 on no gain, and another end around. It looks like to Davis again. He'll circle back and now is stuck, and he'll be taken down for a loss.
They were able to get some leverage on the outside there. Way to bottle it up. You can tell Lakota West is trying to get to the outside, use their speed against a Fairfield young defense, and great job to contain there.
So Bolden's the quarterback. Joshua Brogdon is the running back. The wideouts are Caleb Rao and Adrian Davis. You see Champ Gillespie as an H-back and Eric Cifuentes as a tight end. The offensive line, Tegra Shabola, Ed Bolden, Connor Hudson, Cole Barella, and Lahan McCormiss. So 3rd down with 7:25 left to go here in this opening period. Set up on the near hash mark. Deep drop for Bolden with time. He steps up and he runs out of time. Sacked at the 24-yard line.
Saw the Mike linebacker come up. They had great penetration up front as well with the front 4 and get a big sack. 3 and out. Big stop by the Fairfield defense.
So Brandon Smith on the front line, the left end with the sack, and it's 3 and out. Real quickly, we'll give you the defense. Josiah Cobb, Brandon Smith, and Connor Snively up on the front line. Donovan All, Omar Chatoy, and Quentin Game on the linebackers. We'll see Kavi Bivens in there as well. Here's the punt. And it's taken by Mays at the 30-yard line. He steps forward and gains a couple of yards on the return. So nothing much there. 45 yards on the punt, 2 yards on the return, and with 6:35 left to go here in this opening quarter, no score.
While Lakota West is 3-0, those that need to remember, they did start off slow against Hamilton. Hamilton went down early, went up 7-0, and it was close for a while, but then I think they won 40-13. So they've been in some situations where they have been down a little early, although they've been dominant for most of the first 3 games. There's an opportunity here for Fairfield to jump out early.
So a second crack on offense for Fairfield. Fisher in the shotgun. And he'll give up the middle, off right tackle, and Malik Tate can't go anywhere. And a great push off that defensive left side there for Lakota West.
Yeah, you're going to see, going back, Jeff, to the Fairfield offense, you're going to see Talon do a zone read there, just like you saw there. And as Coach Krause said this morning, he's got a 1 read that he'll call it, then a 2 read. He's really got to make sound decisions tonight, whether to keep or to give. And that's, as Coach Krause said, that's going to be critical against a very good defense of making the right decision with whether to give or not.
Mays will line up as a single receiver to the left. 2nd and 11. They motion Stevenson. They pitch to him coming left. He's trying to turn the corner, and he gets away. Back to the line of scrimmage, or pretty close to it, out to the 32-yard line. So Trent Stevenson will run the ball. That's his 9th attempt this year. He had come in with 22 yards rushing to go along with 48 yards receiving so far this season. Now, here's the funny thing about Stevenson. I'll share with you this. Are you a fan of Michigan football by any chance?
I actually grew up a Buckeye, but you know what? I'll listen to your Big Blue statement here.
So, well, if you know me well enough, I am not a fan at all of the Big Blue. But Stevenson wore number 98 a year ago. Who does that remind you of? A quarterback out there?
I'm trying to think here. You got me stumped already in this first quarter.
Deep drop, and now the quarterback keeping into the clear, out to the 40, angles to the right, to the sideline, nice step around, past midfield and out of bounds, out to the 46-yard line. An impressive open field run of 22 for the quarterback.
One of the things that amazes me, Talon, he is a freshman, but he doesn't look physically imposing. But, man, is he quick. You know, he just has great vision there. He can feel it out. He makes decisive cuts, and he's got elusive speed.
Beauty of a step around there at midfield, by the way.
Absolutely. What's this? I gotta figure out this. You can't stump the Schwab in the first quarter. What do we got here? What's 98? You gotta.
So that was the name of a quarterback, and in fact, there's a famous picture of that quarterback on the ground with an Ohio State linebacker over top of him. Do you remember that from a few years ago?
Man, you're gonna keep it. You might have to turn this timeout. Talon just called a timeout. Thank you, Talon. He's gonna save me here to let my brain try to.
So that's the first of this ball game, and the first, obviously, for the home team, Fairfield. Oh, one of the things that we wanted to mention, right? So point differential is what leads to wins and losses in this. And as we kind of think back to the tail of the tape, you had mentioned something about how good Lakota West defense is, only allowing less than 4.5 points a ball game. They are plus 23.5 in differential this year.
Yeah, and it starts up front, as I mentioned again. You look at Andre Profit, 6'3", 290 senior. A guy like you said, Brian Henderson, 99, 6'1", 260 junior, has 11 tackles, 8 solos. And you look at the linebackers. I was super impressed in the pregame with the size of Jackson Kuwach. Outside linebacker, 6'4", 220, 22 tackles this season. He is a monster, and he comes right behind that big physical defensive line. And then to add on to the third layer, as we talked about, the highly regarded Jair Brown and Alex Afari. They are just extremely, extremely talented on each level.
So they come out of the timeout, 1st and 10 at the Lakota West 46-yard line. They motion a man, and the quarterback keeping it on the fake, and he gains a couple of yards on that. So Talon Fisher is so far obviously the story of the year right now for Fairfield, and that's coming off of how good Juton McLean had been the last couple of years. He has since graduated and gone to the University of Kentucky.
As I mentioned in the pregame, the big shoes to fill, but he is filling them quickly. Something to take note there is they're seeing a lot of jet sweep look, and I think that's going to keep the backside honest. And, I think that's a way for Talon to be able to keep the defense honest there.
Second, and we'll call it 8 after a pickup of 2. They motion a man again. They fake the gifted Mays. And now up the middle is the quarterback and close to a first down. Inside the 40, out to the 38-yard line. So one of the things that we had thought about coming on in is how effective the running of the quarterback will be, and so far the early returns are good.
Yeah, I mean, they're not afraid. I thought they were going to throw the ball a little bit more, to be honest with you, to try to keep the defense. But they say, hey, you know what, we're going to run what we do well, and we're going to make them stop. We have the leading rusher in GMC, and we're going to make them stop him first before we try to start to move the ball through the air.
So another third down coming on up for Fairfield with 3:40 left to play. They motion Stevenson, and they give up the middle, and down the middle, and Mays is gone! 38 yards to the house, 6-0 Fairfield.
Number 1, Mays for 6. What did I say? His speed is booming. I'll just use that. I don't know if that's the right adjective I was looking for, but either or, he is quick.
So they show the muddle huddle initially in the kicking game, and that's a normal thing that they do there. Nick Matty is the kicker out of the hold of Mays coming on up. The long snapper is Matt Toledo. Good snap, good place. The kick is away, and Nick Matty is 9 for 9 this year. 7-0 for the home team on a team against a team that's 3-0 and has nary gave up as much as a touchdown this year. Well, they've given up one here in the early minutes. That drive took, by the way, 3 minutes off the clock. In fact, 3 minutes and 3 seconds, 6 plays. It goes 67 yards. Mays caps it off with a long touchdown, 38 yards. Point after by Matty is good. Brand new score here in Fairfield's Alumni Stadium, 7-0.
You know what? These Fairfield Indians have come out to play. They're probably there's no other team, in my opinion, in the city that's got more publicity about their 3-0 start than Lakota West. And I'm sure as being a Fairfield Indian, you're ready to go. And you can see the line up front, hearing about how good of a defense Lakota West is. I think the Fairfield Indians say, hey, we're here to play ball on a Friday night, and we're going to go out here in the GMC and try to win a big ball game.
Number 4, Josh Brogdon, and number 5, Adrian Davis. Back deep to receive.
Brogdon and Davis set to return. Is it Brogdon or it's Brown, I believe? So Brown and Davis, so it looks like, are the deep men at their own 10-yard line. Was that 4 on the near side? I'm trying to take a look there. Anyways, it's a little squibber, and it's probably not going to matter. Here's Brown at the 15. Angles back to the middle, to the 20, to the 25, and he's wrapped up just across the 25, and they will push him backwards. So Jair Hollywood Brown, well, he is, I have to say this. If you give yourself the nickname or if somebody appoints you that nickname, Hollywood is, I'm almost speechless here. It is quite a mouthful to imagine, because if you get burned, then, they're not going to say very much about Hollywood. But if you make it look good, and that's what he apparently has done to get himself so much national notice.
Yeah, that's a feast or famine type nickname, right? That's a hey, look at me type deal. But he is as advertised. Jair Hollywood Brown, as you said, he's big time. We actually saw last week also Jalen, who will be joining him. So you got Jalen and Jair. Jalen Johnson from LaSalle, who's also going to be in the secondary. Those two guys here from Cincinnati going up to Buckeye Nation are going to make a big impact on that program.
Here's the give to the running back off left tackle on the slight counter play, and for a couple of yards. Joshua Brogdon is 5'10", 215 pounds, a senior. He comes in having averaged 7 yards a carry, 112 yards on 16 carries, and a touchdown. But he's also a bit of a home run threat. He had 79 yards last week against Sycamore in their big win there. So here's the give again. Actually, the quarterback keeping it this time. And they're going to move the chains on that one. And, of course, Mitch Bolden shows that, hey, he can run too.
Yeah, zone read for him. So Talon's really working the zone read on the other side of the game here. And young Mitch as well, sophomore quarterback, says, hey, I can run as well.
Mitch leads the team in carries, believe it or not. 26 coming on in for 103 yards on the ground. That's a 4-yard per tote. And he's got a touchdown on the ground to go with his 7 through the air. 1st and 10 at the 39. They go trips to the near side. And the end around on the jet sweep coming out to the far side for a few yards out there. That's 15. Trent Lloyd, backup wide receiver, 5'11", 180-pound sophomore.
Kind of see Coach Bolden and Coach Krause coming out somewhat a little bit conservative, running the rock. Both teams really do focus on that. I think you'll see Lakota West trying to open up against the young 3 sophomore starter defensive backfield for Fairfield. But so far, right now is, hey, we're going to focus. Both sides are trying to establish the front 7 and see where they can move the ball on the ground.
Bolden claps for it, and it's complete out at the 50-yard line. Trying to get the number on that. Is that 88? And if that's the case, that's a tight end, Eric Cifuentes.
Pass complete to number 18.
And 88 was something Coach Krause talked about today. When Lakota West, you're going to see a lot of defensive substitutions, meaning personnel packages tier to the skill set of Lakota West offense. So you're going to see a lot of that. And he said it's based off of 88 coming in and out, depending on which comes in to match up with that skill set.
Quarterback keeping for a couple of yards on the play. I don't think we got a chance to do this, so we'll do this now because the last drive for them had occurred so fast. The defensive backs tonight for Fairfield: Jaden Mays, Marquise Jones, Josiah Jackson, Jordan Jackson, and Ray Coney.
4-yard gain.
And by the way, Josiah and Jordan are twins.
Twins. That's sophomore starters. That's going to be the Jackson brothers are going to be holding down fort here in Fairfield for the next couple years.
Roll right, Bolden. Looking, throwing, incomplete. A little too tall out there on the right for Trent Lloyd. We didn't mention this either, or at least the records anyways. For Fairfield, 1 and 2 coming on in. Their head coach is Jason Krause in his 10th year with the program at Fairfield, 57 and 43 in his 25th year overall. Tom Bolden is the second-year head coach over at Lakota West, 10 and 4 after the quick start this year and coming in a year ago. In his 14th year overall, 152 and 25. That is impressive.
Whew. 152 and 25. That is, I don't know who can do much better across the country.
The give to the running back into the line on 3rd down. A little surprised on that one?
Yeah, very surprised. I thought they would go back, especially with the look before, with a little bit of a dig and wide open. Mitch just couldn't connect with Trent Lloyd, but they must be thinking, obviously, 2-down territory when it was 3rd and medium. They're thinking maybe a 4th and short, but now it looks like they're going to send out the punting team.
As we melt the clock under a minute in this fast-moving first quarter. You know, in this pace, you and I are going to get dinner at 9 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, good thing. I usually bring a snack. I forgot my lunchbox in the car, so I don't have that in front of us today.
Here's the punt by Caleb Rao, I believe, and this one will come down out as it keeps on moving on down to about the 13-yard line. 33 yards, nothing on the return, and a flag on the play as well.
Flag on the play.
I think you're really going to see the Fairfield offense, Jeff, continue to come out and keep running the ball until Lakota West surprises until they come out and make a stop. I think you're going to continue to see the read option, and you're going to still continue jet sweeps and really trying to get, Jaden Mays involved. Coach Krause said it, and he's following through with it this first quarter. Keep getting Mays the ball, and I think good things are going to happen.
The head official tonight is Doug Ayers. They're still discussing out there. The umpire is Michael Kirby. The linesman is Steve Martin. The line judge, Mike Goldman. And the back judge is Jeffrey Logsdon.
I want to point out one guy that's the glue of Fairfield, Brandon Smith. He plays on both sides of the ball. He already has 23 tackles on defense, and he's also helping at the left tackle spot. He's a 6'1", 230-pound senior, and as Coach Krause said, he is the heart and soul. Can you imagine going both ways? He was in on a couple of those TFLs, tackle for losses already in this first quarter. He's going both ways, playing his heart out, and you can tell he's a difference maker here tonight.
This is a very long discussion. I mean, are they making dinner plans?
They're probably saying, well, we're in Fairfield. There's a lot of options on Route 4. Where are we going tonight? I don't know. Well, Coach Krause is pointing one way, and I think Bolden's pointing the other way, so they're all confused about dinner reservations. Buffalo Wings and Rings, maybe?
Maybe. As we had the Firebirds show on Monday here in Fairfield, and it's going to be against the return team.
By
So
the way,
it was a great show. Oh, go ahead.
Great show. We're both saying it. We're simultaneously saying it was that good of a show. Buffalo Wings and Rings puts on a great show. What Tom Bolden show is a must-see TV. Log in, Buffalo Wings and Rings, great restaurant, and Trace Fowler and crew really get it going out there. So maybe one day I'll be invited, Jeff.
Well, I will tell you this, and I kind of found this out firsthand. A, show up. 2, take care of the dinner bill with Trace, and I think you're good.
Yeah, they were having Mitch Bolden versus Tom Bolden eat off, and I think they had 5 mild wings. And, of course, one of them ended up undefeated, right? They're 3-0.
Right.
So you have Tom Bolden is basically 4-0 because he beat young Mitch in a boneless wing mild eat-off.
Caleb Rao at his own 25. The ball's at the 46-yard line, I believe, or the 40, actually. High arcing punt and no return as Mays will take it right around the 19-yard line. Actually, they'll mark him at the 20.
20-yard line.
So with 18 seconds left, we'll have one, maybe 2 more plays left to go here in this opening quarter. And an interesting one to be sure. 7-0 so far in favor of the home team on senior night, or I believe it's senior night. I did also see some crowns in the cheerleading squad. So is this homecoming as well? That's what I'm having to wonder.
So I believe it's homecoming as we're being confirmed here up in the box for the cheerleaders and band potentially. So I know that's right up your alley, Jeff.
Sure.
Band.
The give to the running back off right tackle. He cuts back to the middle of the field and gains 5 on the play. And that should be the end of this first period.
Number 3, Talon Fisher.
So Fisher actually keeps it, and we'll head to break here.
Number
After
30,
1 period in the books, it's 7-0 in favor of Fairfield. This is the GMC on Chatterbox Live. We're at Alumni Stadium here in Fairfield tonight, along with Kyle Decker. I'm Geoff Kim. It's the GMC on Chatterbox Live. 7-0 in favor of the home team, the Indians of Fairfield. And your impressions through the first 12, partner?
Fairfield came to play, and it looks like from a talent perspective and in really the physical play up front, Fairfield's going to stick around, if not, maybe pull off a big time upset.
So we switch sides of the field, 2nd and 10 at the 26-yard line.
Something to take note, what they're trying to do to create space is really spread out. The wide receivers are typically below the numbers and really trying to spread it here.
High arcing pass, nearly picked off. Hollywood Brown was back there, and he was probably the closest, even though that one was over his head, to bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, it's going to be 3rd down and medium. A little bit surprising on 2nd and medium there that they went there, but they throw some hitches. I think it was all 3 trips right. I think they all had 3 hitches. Typically, it's a pitch and catch type situation. Talon, I believe, airmailed a little bit, but the youngster is probably going to hopefully settle down here. But he does have, as you mentioned, Jeff, early on, 13 of 25, not a lot of pass attempts. So through 3 games, that is not a lot of pass attempts. He's 52% on the year. Winning football is typically 60 and above.
You got timeout on the field. And, speaking of pass attempts, right? Because, we've seen a fair amount of passing by some of the different teams. As we look at some of the league leaders, I'm just thinking about Mekhi Lynn over at Princeton, right? So, you said that in this case, Talon Fisher's got 25 coming into this game. I would think that's a game total there for Mekhi Lynn over at Princeton.
Yeah, Mekhi Lynn, dual threat athlete. Saw today he got offered by Toledo. Most have him as an athlete. Some might start considering him as a quarterback. He is really playing well for the Princeton Vikings, and Vikings are 3-0 for a reason. It's right behind Mekhi Lynn. We were there week 1 with Princeton Hamilton. What a great game that was, and that's really kind of projected them forward, and Mekhi and company have taken advantage.
So 3rd and 4 as we await resumption of play at the 26-yard line. And just to make sure that, I recant on this, I initially came into the second period saying it's 2nd and 10. It was 2nd and 4. Now it's 3rd and 4, and we've reset. The rushing leader in the league, by the way, as we mentioned, Talon Fisher coming in with more than 200 more yards than the next closest man on the list. So 3rd and 4 here, and motion on the line.
Flag on the play.
So the way the offense is clapping, you think it's encroachment.
It looks like they did a hard count and were able to draw off. Like I said, 3rd and 4, that'll give them a 1st down. That's a huge 3rd down conversion, which is the tail of the tape. Mm-hmm. Typically, those that convert above 50% on 3rd down are likely to have a higher probability to win. So that's big. For them to continue to progress and keep drives going is significant.
By the way, I didn't say who the second place runner in the league is. It's William Engel over at Sycamore. He's got 200 fewer yards, and the quarterback keeping off the right end, and a great bit of hesitation there on the mesh, and they gain a few yards on there. I think 5 on the play, and Kuwach on the tackle.
And speaking of William Engel, this Lakota West defense kept Sycamore offense just barely above 100 yards, so they kept the best rusher in the league. So to see Talon in Fairfield to continue to churn up yards, it's a big deal. William Engel is one great player in the GMC this year.
By the way, we mentioned Kuwach's name. He's the leading tackler on this team, coming in with 22 tackles. And they give up the middle and into the linebacking core, and awfully close to the 1st down, Jaden Mays. So Mays is a young man, as we had mentioned, who can do a little bit of everything. It looks like are they going to move the chains? They will, 1st and 10. So he can do a little bit of everything. As a slot back, as a wide receiver, as a holder on kicks, as a punter. So it tells you how good his hands, how good his feet are. And, of course, he's now lining up more at running back.
Simply put, Jeff, just give it to Jaden. Not much more you got to do outside of maybe giving it to the leading rusher and Talon. But, Jaden getting the ball is going to be significant, once again, to hold defenses accountable.
Fisher gives off right tackle, and maybe a yard on that. We'll see. So I'm trying to think back to a year ago as Mays gets another carry. So a year ago in the playoffs, I seem to recall that Mays had gotten a long run. It was the start of the second half. It was the first play from scrimmage to start the second half in the playoff game against Hamilton. He took one 67 yards down for, I believe, a go-ahead score. And then he returned one some 70 yards on an interception for a pick six to really kind of put an exclamation point on that game. And that really kind of sealed my fandom for the young man so far in his high school career.
I couldn't even make it up the stairs here at Fairfield Stadium, let alone think about Jaden running up and down the field.
So the quarterback motioning and rolling to the left, and he gets away, and he will lose yards on the play going out of bounds. I was almost surprised that there wasn't a horse collar at the end of that one.
Very close. I think he pulled up at the end. Looks like the referee went down there as well. There's a lot going on the other far side of the field, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of speed. He's just an elusive type player. You know, he's a little bit, and I thought about your question to your answer about Michigan. He's a little bit like that quarterback, Devin Gardner. So, you know, that's you know, I'm starting to piece things here in the box in the second quarter. So typically those that don't listen to Jeff and Kyle and Chatterbox, which you should, by the way, is typically Jeff warms up throughout the game and starts bringing some heat about music and history and band. But tonight, maybe is my night. Maybe I'll figure it out.
We got another timeout. This one charged to Fairfield with 10:10 left to go until halftime. Let's look at some of the other leaders right now in the league. Lamont Jackson, who we saw in week 1, leads the league in receiving yards with 279. Leading tackler in the league, as I'm trying to, like, you know, I need some glasses on this. I'm thankful that you have the big print. Princeton's Antonio Nunley Jr. has 38 tackles so far. Dante Corleone has the most sacks for Coleraine with 3. And Brady Camello, your favorite guy out there for Mason, leading in interceptions with 3.
Say hello to Camello. He still has 3. He had 3 after that. And there's the one guy I'm missing. Oh, he's hanging on barely by the thread. Right? I love this GMC stat line here. Is Thomas the Train Boyd. Mm-hmm. You know what? And he made my week. I texted Jeff, or tweeted at Jeff. I put a train. He had a video, and I put a train out there, and he tweeted back. He said he loved it. So Thomas the Train Boyd is starting to catch on here in the Greater Miami Conference.
Well, you're going to be the nickname maker before too long. Trips to the near side, deep drop for the quarterback, and now they go on a naked screen. Really, you can't even call that play in space, and a loss on the play. So Miller again on the tackle. And Tate on the reception lost some yardage on the play.
Yeah, it looks like Aiden Miller, who plays on both sides of the ball. Talk about players that are going both ways, as we were discussing with Fairfield. Aiden Miller, not only does he tote the rock on offense, but he's also making big-time tackles on defense.
A couple deep men at the 25-yard line for Lakota West. Davis and Brown. Brown has it at the 20. He mishandles it at the 30. He gets it back and now cuts back to the middle of the field. There's a flag on the play as he's taken down pretty close to where he had received the ball. So a 34-yard punt, nothing on the return on the mishandle. And with 9:22 left to go, we'll see what this flag is.
Speaking of Adrian Davis, one thing at the Tom Bolden show was interesting. He's actually going on to play baseball somewhere. He looks like he could be a great football player, but it sounded like in his mind, I think he was going on to maybe an engineering position as well. Very, very well-spoken young man, and I love to see those kids up there speaking and talking, and I love the platform that Chatterbox is providing. Obviously a little bit biased myself being part of the team, but Adrian, it shows, you know, how gifted our future youth is with the likes of Adrian Davis.
So they're going to march this off against the return team back 10 yards. So it must have been a little hold on the return. And it was hard to see the hold because we saw the drop by Brown on that play. But it is against the receiving team. So they march back 20 after the punt of 34. So it's a net of 44 on the play with 9:22 left to go until halftime. 7-0 Fairfield. And Bolden takes it. He might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
One thing I'd like to see Lakota West do is establish the run on the left side of the line. They have a guy over there, just to say he's big to say the least. Tegra Shabola.
Yes.
I've been waiting to say that all night. 6'6", 315-pound junior. Four-star recruit headed to the Buckeyes is a very large human being. And I think they should really, really strive to push on that side of the line, establish the run, because right now they're struggling. There's a lot of tackles for loss. Give Fairfield credit, but I would run it behind the big fella on the left side of the line.
Well, and that is a big line altogether as it is. So they motion a man, drop for Bolden. He wants to pass it now. It's flushed from the pocket, puts it on the ground, and might have lost a yard on the play. So Fairfield equal to the challenge right now.
Yeah, it looks like they almost run a stunt there. They brought the Will linebacker on the short side of the field across right underneath the right defensive end. And I think right now they're throwing some looks at Lakota West, and Lakota West doesn't know what's coming their way. And really, the coaching of Fairfield and how they're mixing it up, I think it has Lakota West on, a little bit on skates.
Well, you mentioned the right defensive end. It's Josiah Cobb, 6 foot tall, 250 pounds, a senior. 3rd and 10 with under 8 to play. Bolden in the gun with time, looks to the right, runs out of time, looking downfield, throws deep for the tight end, and it is incomplete, and we got a flag at the end of the play.
Man, I don't like that. That was a jump ball. Fairfield rushed 3, gave a lot of time there. Bolden was able to roll out right, but I think that was, I'm not supposed to, as being a former quarterback, I'm constructive on the referees. I know they're trying out there, but I really, on a 3rd down jump ball like that, there's a lot of pushing both ways. I don't like that call.
So it's an automatic 1st down on that call with 7:46 left to go. See where they spot the ball. It looks like they'll bring them up to the 35-yard line. Along with Kyle Decker, I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us here on Chatterbox Live. Week number 4 of this high school football season, and a nice one here in the GMC tonight. 7-0 in favor of the home team on a long touchdown run by Jaden Mays. And the quarterback keeping it again and again. Great job defensively on the right side of the line. Omar Shatawi, and that's a mouthful, by the way, on the stop.
For those that couldn't see, I was pointing to Jeff to say that name because I did not want to. But needless to say, number 8 is making plays. Another guy, and they keep referencing my conversation with Coach Krause, but he said outside of Brandon Smith, the next guy that is the glue on that second line of defense is their Mike linebacker, Omar. So I'm not saying the last name.
So as I'm hearing it, and we're going to stay with the way it's going to be addressed publicly, it's Shatui. So Omar Shatui with the stop and a deep drop now for Bolden. He rolls right, he throws right. It's caught by the tight end, and he's got a 1st down across midfield, and they'll move the chains again.
Rolling right, it looks like Bolden is comfortable in that direction. Run a what I would consider a spot route. So the slot wide receiver goes out there, turns and pivots. Kind of a miss coverage there, but an easy pitch and catch to move the chains for Lakota West.
So it's 15, Trent Lloyd instead of the H back there. So 1st and 10 with 6:40 left to go here in this first half. 7-0. They'll spot the ball at the 48-yard line on the long gainer. Play action. Now the 9 route to the right side. It's a little off target. Looking for Adrian Davis, who had pulled in a couple a week ago for touchdowns.
They got what they wanted, right? The 9 route with a one-on-one coverage, and a guy that trying to match up with Adrian Davis, they just couldn't complete it. He was open. That's one of those that Mitch is going to watch tomorrow morning in film and say, man, I wish I could have that back, because that's a touchdown right there to tie up the ball game.
Well, and for those of you who don't know, the 9 route is the go route, out on the, especially on a wide receiver out on the sideline. It looked like Bolden was looking for the 8, and that was the post. So 2nd and 10 at the 48. They will change the line, or change the play at the line, and now go with something new. And they'll motion the running back to his left. The look right, the completion to the right. Davis, I don't know if he got really anything on that play.
That's the one thing as an offensive, I don't want to consider myself a mind, but I do not like a bubble route to the short side of the field. There's just not a lot of room to operate over there. And, when you have the outside X just stock blocking, and then you got the inside that's coming free. There's just not a lot of room to operate. Really don't like that play call, but they're obviously trying to establish the right side. That's a comfortable piece, I think, for Mitch. That's his front side, and he's a lot more efficient with his throws over in that direction.
You see Brian White in there in a slot to the left in the middle of 3 wide receivers. Lloyd is out there, and number 18, Jordan Jackson, is the closest to us. Trips to the left, Brogdon, and we'll call for timeout with 5:35 left to go. So, I guess there's a saying that you can't take the timeouts with you, so I guess why not have another one? This is the 4th so far we've seen in this first half. Want to talk about, the records so far. We mentioned Lakota West at 3-0. They're tied for the top with Mason, who we saw a couple weeks ago. We were pretty impressed with them. And we saw Princeton in week number 1. They're all tied at 3-0 so far this season.
And get this. Princeton, the 3-0 Princeton Vikings, are on the rocks against a team we saw a lot the last couple of weeks in the Lakota East. They're down 14-7. It's an early ball game, but Lakota East has some talent. So that would be a big upset. And a lot of the 3-0 teams, we're watching one right here, right in front of us, right? Fairfield is up on West. Princeton is down to Lakota East. And right now, where most people were thinking, looking at the schedule, this is going to be a really stagnant Friday night in the Greater Miami Conference. But really, we're starting to see some of these teams that are on the bottom challenging the front top here.
3rd and 11 as both teams come back out. And again, mentioned the Lakota East, and I think about, we'd seen them 2 weeks in a row, and they'd run into some hard luck against Mason, and then LaSalle actually took them to task a week ago. Bolden with a deep drop, with time, looking right, launches one deep to the deep middle, and it's picked off, and we got a flag at the end of it as well. We saw a receiver fall down the seam, and we'll see if it's pass interference. Brian White was the lone receiver down there against the double team.
Man, oh man, if I'm a Fairfield Indian fan, I am just sick to my stomach. Another ball that had, in my opinion, no chance of being caught was a jump ball. It's going to be defensive pass interference and conversion. 2 third down, let's remember this, 2 third down pass interference calls that have kept this drive alive.
Well, if you remember the game that we saw a week ago, penalties kept that game going longer than it really needed to for Lakota East, and eventually they ran out of time because of it.
And sometimes that's all you need, Jeff. You just need something to start going your way. 2 penalties go your way. Once again, they could break one here and tie it up real quick.
Roll right, the quarterback Bolden trying to gain a yard, and he is pushed out of bounds from behind.
And that's great to see. You see a resilient Fairfield defense. Let's think about this, as we just said. 2 third down conversions that the Zebras, pardon my French there, with the umpires and refs, were prolonging. And you see that on the first play, a tackle for a loss. Now it's 2nd and long. This Fairfield defense says, hey, no matter what event or adversity hits us, we're going to keep coming at you.
5:20 left to go. Got a little delay here. And we got the play clock still running, by the way. So Bolden calls to play at the line. 3 on the clock. They're going to have to hurry. He calls for it, and he'll keep it up the middle, and he is stacked up.
They're doing a great job of keying on that read option, taking away the running back and saying, hey, we're going to make Mitch cut it up inside and make the sophomore QB use his physicality to what he has up the middle, and that's a matchup I think Fairfield is obviously taking advantage of.
Connor Snively, the nose guard. You like it when the big guys at 6'3" and 280 pounds come in and make the stop.
Snively, you gotta love that. He's sniffing it out, sniffing the Snively is getting rolling up front there.
3rd and 10. Deep drop for Bolden. Looking right now, runs out of time, puts it and throws it, and is it complete? Out at the right part of the sideline. They're going to call it a catch.
Adrian Davis, it looks like there, number 5. Huge catch by the senior to, once again, 3rd time conversion there on 3rd down.
Well, I don't know if that was a comeback route. I don't know if you saw it. I was paying attention to the quarterback on that one, but it sure looked like Davis was down the field a little bit, and then he came on back. So 1st and 10 at the 23 on a gain of 11. They needed 10. They got 11 on the play. Here's the jet sweep coming to the near side. Is it Davis out to the 20? He turns the corner, and we got, it looks like another flag on the play. Not sure if that's a flag, but we see a loose piece of something. And did they get all the way into the end zone? So wait a minute. We saw a flag on there, and then we saw some action as we saw apparently Davis make his way to the end zone, and it's holding.
Wow, there's a lot going on that play. But,
yes, there was. Well, it looked like he was down, and he just kept going.
Which is what you're taught to do, right? As a coach, you always say, hey, and there's a lot of times where you roll on top of the defender and actually don't physically touch the ground. Although from a visual perspective, optics say, hey, it looks like he's down. Sometimes you're actually not down. So that's a great job of finishing the play by senior Adrian Davis, making the refs make a call there. But it looks like obviously the penalty and the holding is going to brought him back here.
They go trips to the right and a single to the left. Bolden with a deep drop, now rolling to the right, looking, and now steps up in the pocket, angles to the left. He'll keep it. Out to the 25, to the 20, out to the 15, to the 10, down to the 6, first and goal. On a pickup of 24 on the play.
You're seeing in the last couple plays, sometimes, Jeff, the broken plays are the best plays. Mitch with a huge run, reversing back across the field to continue to roll him right, and he's cutting across the grain to the left. You saw that the last couple plays. He's making plays with his feet.
So first and goal as we come up on 3.5 minutes left to go in this first half. 7-0. Indians with the lead, but the Firebirds knock on the door. They spot the ball. Looks like at the 7. They motion Davis. Looks like they give to Davis, angling right, trying to turn the corner, and he really can't as he makes his way down to the 6.
With the carry.
Jet sweep away from Shabola. Once again, I would love to see him run on a first down right behind the big fella. But, they got a good offensive line across the board, but you're seeing jet sweep and a lot of jet motions on both sides of the ball with both Fairfield and Lakota West. But going back real quick, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. He makes great decisions. Sometimes in adverse conditions, you can throw bad passes. Mitch continues to make good decisions.
Roll left by the quarterback, in trouble, now steps up, rolls to the right. Trying to get to the 5, inside the 5 and out towards the sideline, close to the 3-yard line. So something out of nothing to bring up 3rd and goal.
I guess those additional bonus swings aren't slowing him down. Holy cow. He's moving back there. I wish I had that as a quarterback. I was not blessed with that type of moves. Mitch Bolden with extreme quickness there.
Davis with the last tackle.
So 3rd and goal at the 2. And they go twins on the near side, Rao and Davis. They give to the running back to the goal line. Actually, we'll see. I don't think he got anywhere.
Davis held on at the line.
So 15 plays on the drive, and it brings up 4th down. Under 2 minutes to play. Are they going to go for it?
I think Coach Bolden's going to dial it up here. I want to be surprised with a little play action or zone read and get Mitch. His legs have really done a great job on this drive in this second quarter. Seeing him having an option with his feet, RPO, run-pass option here.
So you see this change in personnel, and you're going to go trips to the near side. Trent Lloyd will line up in a slot to the left. Inside, Jordan Jackson, closest to us, and Adrian Davis. And now we got a timeout. Timeout charged to the offense to Lakota West. With 1:13 to play, they want to think about this. Now, I actually, partner, think this is a good idea to go for it here, and here's the reason why. Is that even if you don't make it here, and so long as you don't give up significant ground the other way, you pin the opposing offense back to the 2-yard line or maybe even inside the 2.
Yeah, you saw this, those that are Bengals or Browns fans. You saw Thursday Night Football last night, right? You saw Kevin Stefanski believing in Nick Chubb. He got stuck short, but what happened? Myles Garrett, opposing, came back, stripped the quarterback. They got the ball on the 1-yard line. When you have that good of a defense or that much of confidence, I agree, Jeff. I think you go for it because at the end of the day, you have the best defense in the league coming into this week. It's a no-brainer for me. I think he's obviously going to go for it like we saw, and It's just a matter of what. Like I said, I would dial up a little bit of RPO, being able to give, those that don't know what RPO stands for, run, pass, option, really giving the ability to give if he needs to on the run, or he can pull, and then there's a passing option. And I've seen him a lot of, between Adrian Davis and we've called Trent Lloyd, the sophomore to sophomore here, two guys he really targets.
And here we go with 1:13 left to go in this first half. A big play here in this ball game. They motion Lloyd, and it's fumbled on the ground. Bolden picks up the middle to the goal line. Is he in? No signal yet, and he's short. Fairfield is held. A 16-play drive ends in 0 points. And with 1:06 left to go in this second, here comes Fairfield. Wow.
What do you typically say? I'm going to say it for you. Mercy. I held my breath up here, and I don't have skin in the game on either side of the ball. What a broken play. They snap it at Mitch Bolden's feet. He picks up and scrambles, and from up here from the booth, it looked like he got in. Obviously, great defensive stop and met him right at the goal line. Game of inches, they call it, and it was just that right there.
I mean, we're talking about the shadow of the goal line. 1st and 10 at, we'll call it the 1 yard line, and they'll just push right up the middle on first down. And I guess if you're Lakota West, if you had 3 full timeouts, you would actually start taking timeouts here. But I don't know. At this point, I would just go dive play after dive play and just call it a half.
Yeah, I think when you're that close to the goal line here, you QB sneak it with Talon just to continue to get hopefully a little bit of a surge. Don't even take the risk of turning around and handing it off. And it does look like they're going to continue to run the clock out. And with West, as you mentioned, Jeff has 1 timeout. Looks like it's going to be a 7-0 ball game going into half.
Well, they do line up very tight to the line as we come up under 25 seconds to play. Looks like the quarterback keeping it again. There was no gain on the last play, and I don't think there was any gain on this play.
Number 90, Andre Prophet.
It's a good timeout. Tom Bolden called a timeout with that much pressure between a quarterback, center, contact there in delivery. We saw it a couple weeks ago with Dayton Chaminade, Julien, right? They couldn't get the snap, and sometimes things happen, right? Especially if you put a lot of pressure between the center and quarterback there. Sometimes fumbles can happen, and you just never know. So you want to keep playing every play to your fullest, and that's why Coach Bolden, those that are wondering, why would he call a timeout? That's exactly why.
Other games going on in the GMC tonight. Middletown at Coleraine. Sycamore at Mason, Hamilton at Oak Hills, Lakota East at Princeton. You mentioned that game already. And, of course, we have the feature game tonight, Lakota West and Fairfield. So far, a beauty with 15 seconds left to go here in this first half. And the Indians pitching a shutout so far, 7-0. And they go tight. And you would typically think of this as a victory formation, the way how tight they are to the line, and they'll pretty much just surge forward just for that half yard or so as we melt the clock on down, all the way to 0, and that is how we end things here in half number 1. We think. We have the officials waiting for us here. And now they'll go off the field. I got to tell you, I guess the officials were just excited to want to stay on the field for just that much longer, and so we did with them as well. We are at the half. And at halftime, well, it's this team that hasn't been pitching the shutouts, getting the shutout so far through 2 quarters. 7-0 so far here in this one. We'll take a break and come back with half number 2 when we return. This is the GMC here on Chatterbox Live. Feel like putting our Chatterbox Sports guys on the spot here?
Sure, let's do it.
So, prior to this ballgame in the Week 4 pick'em, our own Trace Fowler, Sean Spurlock, and Reed Mouse, the Mighty Mouse, Reed Mouse, in our game tonight, who do they all pick?
Oh, hands down, I would have too, the West.
So we'll see if the next 24 minutes bears them to be right at this point, because right now they're on the wrong side of it.
So out of curiosity, this is great. This little pick'em. Who is the best out of the three of these guys? You know what I mean?
You know what? Here's my easy answer. My incredibly easy answer. Which one of those three's signing your paycheck?
None of them.
Okay.
No, just kidding. No, Trace Fowler. I'll say that one.
Well, see, that's where you go with that answer right there.
No, I have to give. You know what? The Prince of Hamilton, Trace Fowler, right? That's what
I've dubbed him.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it to catch on at this point.
Yeah, Prince or the King. I mean, he is the man, the myth behind Chatterbox. But I'll tell you what, we had Sean running the show last week. Sean knows his stuff, and obviously Mighty Matt, he's in all the pregame shows, and he's got a lot of knowledge. But I wonder what the tally is, because anyone that was watching growing up, I always loved Boomer, like ESPN Countdown. You have Tommy, T.J. Jackson, Boomer, and they'd always keep the standings. So I think they need to update the standings.
Well, I will tell you this. You want to know how you can find out who's leading the way? You want to know how? Check into the box score tonight.
Oh.
10:40 tonight here on chatterboxsports.com or right here on the app. And you will see those three at a round table, and you'll get to see who has bragging rights. Now, the one thing I'm hoping for, because I do have really kid-like virgin ears on certain days, I'm hoping that the swear jar doesn't fill up even more tonight. That's what I'm hoping for.
You know what? I'm also hoping for they let Sean do some talking. So I think I'm throwing darts. You know what I mean? We got to get, Reed goes first, then Trace. And I asked Sean, I said, is it just the two of them, or are you part of this as well? So, let's get Sean some more airtime. Let's let him talk a little bit more.
Free Spurlock.
Free Spurlock. Let's start it. Hashtag, those that are listening, Chatterbox, get at Reed, get at Trace. Free Spurlock. Let the man talk.
Oh, that's beautiful. That given the enormity of this game, that still might be the call of the night. Free Spurlock.
Yeah, don't worry about Jaden Mays' glorious touchdown or whatever happens the second half. Just worry about free Spurlock. But you know what? We're having fun. And we're creating a platform here at Chatterbox Sports that's allowing these kids to even get more recognition the way they should. And I love it. I love it. The coaches call in after a big victory. Mm-hmm. I'm glued to it. We're tired after this, and we go home, and I send those pictures. I'm smoking a stogie and in the hot tub. Listen to the box score. So whatever you're doing, whether you're shoving down pizza or you're in the hot tub, throw on the box score. Check it out.
Right now, by the way, another housekeeping note. Be sure to check in on chatterboxsports.com, the app, and on Twitter for tonight's headlines play of the game. Obviously, we have one score, so you have to say it's a Jaden Mays touchdown so far.
Yeah, I mean, he is. We said it at the beginning. He is fast. He is lightning quick. And he's a big-time prospect. Let's just call it what it is. Jaden Mays is an impact player. He's showing it tonight. And once again, keep giving him touches. Talon, Jaden, just keep pushing that down the field. And who knows, at the end of the next 24 minutes, the Fairfield Indians could have one of the biggest upsets in this early season.
Well, speaking of upsets, and, we were privy to one last night in girls soccer. The state's #1 team got upset on our airwaves last night. Mason defeated Lakota West last night 3-2. So, this could be a bad week for Lakota West, or we could see an impressive comeback here as Hollywood Brown and Adrian Davis are waiting at their own 15-yard line for the return, and away we go in half number 2. And this one, a boomer into the end zone on the fly, touchback.
A touchback.
So 1st and 10 coming up to start things up. And I got to tell you, if I'm Tom Bolden, what's the speech that you give at halftime to your troops? Because the defense is playing well. Maybe you just got to wake up the offense.
Yeah, I think you have to say, guys, we're in a dogfight. It's time to wake up. We're 24 minutes from going home back to Lakota West, Firebird Nation, instead of 4-0, 3-1. And that's something that you want to avoid at all costs. And really, like you said, Jeff, easily put, the defense is still playing a solid football game. It's time for the offense to start moving the ball.
Cameron Good is the running back. He'll open up the second half behind Mitch Bolden. And the give to good off left tackle and into the middle of the field. Nice little dance around to gain 5.
Yeah, as we called for here up in the box, run it behind the big fella. And now you're starting to maybe see some up tempo. They talked a lot about that this week during the week. Is their best offense is when they have up tempo, when they're moving it and they're getting that flywheel, as I call it, and they start to put some pressure on the defense.
We see Aiden Miller now in the backfield. And Miller has nowhere to go, stacked up. And you can't help but think that the big line up front, led by Connor Snively, the nose guard, led the way.
Everyone was talking about the matchup between the Fairfield offensive line versus the Lakota 7. How about this Fairfield front 7? Stout, like I said, Snively, Brandon Smith. I mean, these guys are playing some ball up front.
So 3rd down with the ringtones here. A minute gone by here in this third. 7-0 in favor of the home team. In motion, Lloyd back to the line, and a deep drop for the quarterback. Looking right, throwing for Lloyd, incomplete out of the 29-yard line. 3 and out. So whatever was said at halftime didn't work. The initial results aren't as good as you had hoped.
Yeah, and you saw, and I love it, they're playing to win. You saw cover 0. There was no one out deeper than 5 yards. They loaded the box, and they came after Mitch Bolden and made him throw it quick, and you saw the result there. Fairfield and Coach Krause, give them credit. They're playing to win. Aggressive blitz, 0-man coverage. They say, hey, I don't care if I have 3 sophomores in the backfield.
Gavin Bowie is the punter. He punts it away under duress. Out to the 35. Return man still on his feet. Out to the 30, and he's pushed back even further than that. So a real good job on special teams. 45 yards on the punt, nothing on the return for Bowie.
You know, some guys on the offensive line, just to call them out, I love this name, Augie Groh.
Yes.
6'4", 265, junior. As I mentioned, Connor Snively and Smith going both ways. They have a guy named Ethan, I believe Talia, and Kendricks Goodman. Kendricks Goodman is a guy, another guy, talk about college spotlight, has offers from also Kentucky and Pittsburgh. So these guys, like I said, once again, is it reload? You know, I think they are.
They motion a man, and here's a give off right tackle to the running back, and moving his way out to the sideline, Jaden Mays for 4 before getting pushed out. Well, you know, talking about Goodman, of course, right? If he goes to Lexington, he'll join his Fairfield teammate, Jatan McLean, who went there this year.
I think Bob Stoops might be waiting at the restaurant here on Route 4. Sounds like he's got, or not Bob Stoops.
Mike Stoops.
Mike Stoops, thank you. Yeah, Mike Stoops might be on Route 4 somewhere here for dinner.
Maybe we need to catch up with them and give a proper scouting report. 2nd and 6. The running back into the secondary. He's got a first down and more. A gain of 9 on the play. So Mays again, and he's really taken over at the tailback spot tonight.
Yeah, he had some creases there, and offensive line, as we mentioned, are opening up some holes, and he's going right in there, full bore.
Oh, is that the 2 gap on that run?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that was the 2 gap. I was looking to see if actually Goodman might have been pulling through there. You're starting to see him at right guard. I mean, that's a big guy coming up through a hole, 6'2", 334.
Fisher gives it. Mays again, and he nearly broke one again. Across midfield and near again for a first down, a pickup of 8.
Same play. Again, I think it was right through the 2-hole or 3-hole, right up the middle. Pulling Goodman through the hole. Let the big fella lead. It's not a bad guy to run behind, is it? He's
no, not at all.
There. That's a fun guy. That's a wide load coming through there, and you're going to have some positive momentum there. And once again, winning up front on the offensive side of the ball.
2nd and 2. Fisher in the gun with Mays, and they'll give off left tackle, and he breaks away into the clear for a moment. He has the first down across the 45 to the 44-yard line. It looked like he was initially stopped at the point of attack and surged forward for a few more, a gain of 5.
I think that's a big adjustment, getting Mays more touches than Malik Tate. Malik Tate is a runner there I'm on the wrong side of the ball here. I'm so excited. But I think getting those touches to Mays is a continued piece I think if he has 15-plus carries, that's going to be a big stat
Well,
tonight.
he is a home run threat, as we had talked about before. He had hit a couple of home runs against Hamilton in the playoffs last year. They go on a fly sweep this time and nothing. In fact, a loss on the play.
Yeah, I think Malik Tate is the transfer from Woodward. I think where I was going with that was as talking to Coach Krause. That's an adjustment. He came from Woodward last year to Fairfield, adjusting to the offense. And I think, they're allowing that kind of maturation process to occur. And I think they said, hey, it gets a big game like tonight, especially being 1-2 coming into week 4. They need to get their leader in Mays, the rock, in the backfield as well.
Silas Walters, the safety, stopped Trent Stevenson. So it's 2nd and 11. They fake again, and now they give again. And here's the running back off the left side for a gain of 5, maybe 6.
So they go to the weak side of the field there, Jeff. Looking for the strength there. I think a lot of times Lakota West is keying that, hey, they're going to run to that right side behind Goodman in the right side, right tackle. But right now, the weak side is there, especially with that speed. Once again, it's one-on-one on the outside with the will linebacker, and that's a matchup that Fairfield's winning.
3rd and 6 at the 44-yard line. You're kind of in no man's land here, and we've got an official timeout with 7:14 left to go here in this third. I'm with Kyle Decker. I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us here on Chatterbox Live. Week number 4 of the high school football season, and a dandy so far, 7-0.
Yeah, and leading the drive out here to start the second half. Fairfield, as you had mentioned, is making a statement. And this is third down conversions. We talked about a lot at the first half, and now we're seeing in the second half. I would say here, if I was the coach of the Fairfield Indians like Coach Krause, it's a 2-down territory for me.
Fisher, and they're showing blitz up the middle and moving on the line. And this might be a first down the easy way.
Yeah, you saw both linebackers coming out. There's a full house blitz, and obviously hard cadence there by Talon. That's the second time the hard count has worked in on third down. Great job there.
I believe it's going to be 3rd and short, the way they're placing the down marker out towards the marker, the first down marker. So 3rd, and we're going to call it mere inches. They're not going to have to measure on this, right?
I think that's what the Fairfield staff's asking for is a measurement here.
So just under 7 minutes left to play here in this third. 7-0 so far in this one. Mays from long distance, from 38 yards on a score in the first half. The lone score of this ball game, the point after was good, and we got that 7-0 score.
So I got a question for you, Mr. Kim here.
Okay.
What is a Firebird?
What is a Firebird? Well, I'll tell you this. People in, I believe it's Greek mythology, had called them a phoenix.
Hey, that's pretty good because I have my notes here, those that can't see. I came prepared in the booth on week 4. I've learned a lot as a rookie in my first 3 weeks, but Mr. Kim usually brings the questions to me. So I looked it up on Google, and a Firebird is described, according to Google, as a large bird with majestic plumage that glows brightly. So
Literally on fire.
Literally on fire.
Yes.
And looks like the defense is not on fire. trying to parlay there, but yeah, I found that interesting. Being the rookie I am, I said, you know what, I gotta give a zinger here, give a little trivia. But yeah, it's a bird. I don't even know what plumage is. Usually
Plumage?
Plumage. There we go. See, I can't even say it.
So it's feathers, basically. It's a fancy way of saying feathers. So 1st and 10 at the 33. It's a first down for the home team. And the give to the running back into the line and nowhere to go.
Off tackle there to the short side again. I think Lakota West said, hey, we're not going to let that happen anymore. Strengthen that side on the left end. I think they bumped him out a little bit, brought the will linebacker down and said, hey, we're not going to let this happen.
Cam Vargas, the inside linebacker, came out there to go get him. 6'1", 215 pounds. A senior, came into this ballgame with 15 tackles and a sack. So 2nd and 10, no gain. It's a motion to the right, and the give to the right, to the running back, looking for the corner. He turns the corner out to the 28-yard line. And again, Jaden Mays has owned this drive.
Yeah, just an easy step right zone block. Just reach and step if you're the offensive lineman and seal. And, man, it was like a brick wall out there, the way they stepped. I mean, great footwork by this offensive line to really step and seal on a zone read right, and good run and set them up in third and short here. Third and medium, I should say.
Beg your pardon. Kuwatch forced them out. Third down again and 5. We'll see if there's another hard count for Talon Fisher. And the Fairfield crowd coming alive. They motion Stevenson. They give. Mays up the middle. Out to the 25. A little short of where he needs to be for the first down.
Dive right up the middle. And I'll tell you what, for 175 pounds, as he's listed, 5'11", 175, he runs hard. He's a physical runner. He packs a punch with his size. And they might have to rely on him here with 4th and short. Maybe just continue to go to that well right up the middle.
Well, keep in mind that Matthew Howard, who's the place kicker, his lone field goal this year has come from 25 yards. So they're going to go for it on 4th and 2. I went to the wrong side, west. Beg your pardon, Nick Maddy, who's long as 34. This would have been a 42-yard attempt. So we got a whistle stopping play. Now, was it a timeout or was there a flag? I don't see a flag. I want to say a timeout had been charged prior to. So a timeout charged to the home team. So no flag on the play. They thought better of what they wanted to do. So Nick Maddy, by the way, is the place kicker on this team. 8 for 8 on extra points. So you know he's good there. 2 for 3 on field goals as long as 34. This at the 25-yard line would have made it a 42-yard attempt. You know, I got to tell you, it is still high school, right? If you get a kicker that can kick from 40-plus, congratulations. You have an extra advantage, but that's not typical in most high schools to get a kicker with that big of a leg.
Yeah, I would say most high schools, it's 1 in 20. In a good high school and a good conference like GMC, it's probably 1 or 2 in 10 that has a kicker that can really consistently make. So with it being 4th and short, once again, why not? The effective, powerful offensive line, like we talked about, put the confidence. Go win the game if you're Fairfield. You know, trust the big fellas up front.
Real quick, do you go RPO here?
I would honestly just give it to Jaden Mays right up the middle. I would almost turn around, and it looks like he's going to come under center and just hand it off.
So they go into a traditional I, and the give to the tailback towards the first down marker, right about, he needed to get inside the 24. I don't know that he has it. The near side judge is right at the 24-yard mark.
KB Bivens on the carry, number 2.
So Bivens and not Mays, the ball carrier on this 4th down. And we're seeing both teams pointing in either direction. And it's a turnover on downs. They've held.
Wow, big time stop there by the Lakota West defense to turn over on downs and hopefully continue to take momentum. Once again, though, question is, can Lakota West offense get going?
Now, they haven't shown any signs of life yet. They had a 3-and-out to start this second half, and I don't know if, usually I think about speeches of inspiration, for the lack of a better way to put it. I think the other way to put it is paint peeling off of walls, right? But let's call it, words of inspiration here. Well, they didn't work here on the 3-and-out on that last drive, and of course you saw so much of this clock melted down by the home team, by Fairfield. I don't know what kind of momentum you bring out here with 5:20 left to go here in this third. So here they come. 1st and 10, we'll call it at the 34, beg your pardon, the 24 on the near hash mark. Bolden holds on to it, and he is pushed back. And again, a big surge by the front line tonight.
Yeah, they're putting seven in the box there. And if you look at it, they're running cover 1, and sometimes, the safety can't get over. They're putting Adrian Davis on an island and trusting their sophomore quarterbacks, and they're going to stop the run. They're going to have to, if Lakota West, I didn't think I would say this, in the second half is going to actually come back and win this game, they're going to have to throw the ball down the field.
Well, as they're going to the line here and still getting a play here, 17 on the play clock, by the way. 2nd and 9. I don't know why they don't run behind Shabola. Deep drop for Bolden with time. Deep middle. It is too long out at the 50-yard line.
Those that are probably listening to us from Lakota West say, hey, Tom Bolden's 152 and 25 for a reason, guys. We got Jeff and Kyle up here. But, honestly, it's, we are, as I always say, we are where we are, right? And at this point in time, with 4:30 left in the third, to us, I mean, I think it's pretty evident of potentially adjustments that need to be made. And now you're talking about, once again, 3rd and long, and they're really struggling here.
They need a play to get going tonight. As simple as that. Brian White's in the backfield with the quarterback, Mitch Bolden. They motion a receiver back to the right, and now the deep drop by Bolden, and now we've got a stoppage. As that one, that's a tough one to deal with because Trent Lloyd had the post route all by himself. And we're not that far away from the coaching booth, and you see the frustration of the Lakota West coaches coming through, at least in where we're at in the press box.
I thought someone was breaking down the door up here in the box. And I'll give some insight here. This is the advantage of me being a coach for the last 10 years. This umpire crew, this reffing crew, is not typically the best from an organizational standpoint. We had them when I was at Loveland High School. Not to be too critical, but you're starting to see a little bit of mismanagement here.
So there was a knee down by the quarterback, and that's why we have 4th down. 4th and 14. Here's the punt from the 20, and they call for the flare catch. It ball comes out, and I think it was down before. It was quickly recovered. So 30 yards on the punt, nothing on the return. 4:05 left to go, and a comedy of errors for West so far tonight.
Yeah, that was a bad snap, and Mitch goes down just to pick it up, and his left knee was on the turf, and that's a big stop once again for the Fairfield defense, pitching the shutout and really no movement there for the Lakota West offense. And now here's an opportunity, right? Here's an opportunity. They put up some points here, Geoff. We're starting to talk about only a certain amount of possessions left in this game.
Well, a 2-score lead right now looks like it's unbelievable. So the fake to Stevenson and the dive play by the quarterback. Talon Fisher for 1. So the drive starts at their own 49-yard line. So if you go 51 yards and get an insurance touchdown right now, the way the defense is played tonight, you're going to think that's enough right now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think you're seeing this defense now play with confidence. They probably came into the game, you look across the field, there's just guys that look the part, the eye test, you're like, wow. Now you start to play with them, you have the confidence that you can beat them.
The give to the tailback into the middle of the line. He pushes the pile past the 45 down to the 44-yard line.
One thing that Coach Bolden mentioned in his pregame show was the physicality that they actually played tougher. And traditionally in Lakota West program, they wouldn't play tougher than a team like Hamilton. He said that they were tougher than Hamilton. And I think maybe Fairfield heard that message and said, hey, Lakota West thinks they're tougher than everybody. And you're starting to see this physical attitude by the Fairfield Indians.
Tate with the pickup of 5, down in distance, 3rd and 3. And West showing blitz again. And again a flag. And again, this is what has led to some self-destruction here. We saw this with East a week ago. Lakota West tonight is feeling the same pains.
Yeah, discipline. It's knowing your assignments, staying disciplined on downs. Penalties, special teams come into play in a thin line between winning and losing. And right now, the hard count by the Fairfield Indians might be one of their better plays.
1st and 10 at the 39. So we did see to start off the running attack with Tate here on this as we've got a little stoppage here as both teams are still standing. And now they wind up the clock. So 2:27 and counting here. 7-0 Indians with the lead here at home. Week 4 of this GMC season. They motion Thomas, the tight end, to the left. Trips left, and now Fisher to the right. He's looking for the corner. He will not get it. Really great job by the defensive backfield out there for Lakota West, led by Will Barber.
Yeah, I really think on both sides of the ball, 2 young quarterbacks. I think there's going to have to be one big throw here that's either going to get Lakota West back in the game by Mitch Bolden or Talon Fisher potentially sealing the deal against the Lakota West defense. over top. I think there's going to be a play here between now and the end of the game that's going to really make a difference.
Fisher, the give, and the running back gets away for a quick hot second, gains a couple of yards on that one, and that's our favorite name to call tonight, Jaden Mays.
Number 33, Jackson.
And then we got yet another third down.
Yeah, 3rd and 9. Once again, they could play what they have been traditionally as saying, you know what, we're going to take our opportunity here and still run the ball, get to what we call no man's land, which seems like we have a lot up here in our games here on Chatterbox, is a lot of possessions between the 40 and the 30-yard line going in, and that's a tough area. But what do they do here? I think they probably run it and give them a chance maybe for an RPO at the least. 5
on the play clock. Deep drop with the quarterback. Now he steps up to the right, looking for the 35 and out to the 33-yard line, out to the sideline, where he is taken down pretty hard by Cam Vargas.
Tackled by number 44, Cam Vargas.
Yeah, big-time shot. He looks a little bit, like he got you when you take a shot like that. Sometimes you get up a little bit staggered. Hopefully, young Talon is okay, and it's 4th and about 4. And
for Fairfield.
This is once again another critical point in the game for the Fairfield Indians.
An official stoppage with 17 seconds. 4th and 4. The ball's at the 33-yard line. You won't go for a field goal here because that's 50, and I guess it's too close in the mind of Jason Krause to punt it away. So 4th and 4, and here we go with 15 on the clock. In fact, there's more time on the clock than there is the play clock, and I think they're going to hold it.
Here's the question. Can they run their best play, Jeff? You know what that is?
The dive?
No, the fake, the hard count. Get them to jump again, right? It's about 4th and 5, 4th and 4.
That's the end of 3, and the score remains the same. 7-0 here in Fairfield. The Indians with the lead. This is the GMC here on Chatterbox Live. About ready to start a deciding 4th quarter here in Fairfield. 7-0, the Indians pitching a shutout. And you think we'd be in Cleveland by saying something like that. Instead, we're in Fairfield. Along with Kyle Decker, I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us here on Chatterbox Live. Thoughts of baseball and invading the press box here for week 4 of our football game.
I guess I started it off the broadcast saying the defense of Lakota West averaging only allowing 4 points is like the Reds pitching staff. Now you're talking more baseball. It's a low-scoring affair, Jeff, to say the least. Does it open up here in the 4th quarter? Do the quarterbacks come alive? Are they able to advance the ball down the field? Because both defense right now are stacking the line.
We'll see if it's the freeze pay here. Instead, they'll go. Here's the running back off the left side. He will not get the first down. He'll be pushed back at the 38-yard line, and Lakota West has held.
Big players make big plays at big times. Big-time play by the Lakota West defense. The heartbeat and the high intensity is ratcheting it up. And on 4th and 4, big-time play right there by the Firebirds defense.
Well, it's funny because, we had mentioned in the last series for Lakota West, why don't you run off left tackle? It's almost like Fairfield decided they wanted to listen to us and do the same. In this case, they don't have the same result. So the give off to the left side. Davis, nowhere to go. He's stacked up right at the line of scrimmage.
Davis on the run, capsized.
I think at times they're trying to stretch east and west so much versus stick your foot in the ground and get north. I think there's alleyways that you're seeing with these zone steps up front. They're running zone left there. Guy in motion coming across. I believe that was Adrian Davis, very athletic. But sometimes you just got to stick your foot in the ground and, like I said, get north. Get those yards, especially on 1st down.
Olin calls for it. Deep drop with time. Looking, the 9 route down the left side, incomplete, and a flag at the 30-yard line.
Flag on the play.
So they got single coverage out there, as you had mentioned. Run the 9 route or the go route. It's actually a hitch and go. Pump fake by Bolden, threw it out there. Once again, another suspect pass interference called against Fairfield. I think that was great defense myself. And but nonetheless, it's 15 yards, I believe, and a first down for the Firebirds.
That's a big break, and that's the most offense they've had tonight so far in the second half. A 15-yard penalty to keep them forward. Tight line. Now they go twins to the near side. Bolden gives to the running back, off right tackle and into the secondary, out to the 40-yard line, and a flag again on the play on a pickup of 6.
On the play.
It looked like they weren't set, Jeff. I mean, it looked like the slot receiver was coming out late. And
Shift against
I think they're going to call it a legal shift. And once again, penalties. It's not a great way to start a drive. 1st and 15 now, and put yourself, when you're trying to gain momentum, you have a big penalty that you received, and now it goes right back against you.
Well, when you consider that was a 6-yard gain by Cameron Good, the net on that play, on that technically that non-play, is 11 yards. That's a big deal right now to an offense that's not moving anywhere. 1st and 15 as we melt the clock, under 11 minutes left to go here in this contest tonight. Decidedly close to the vest, 7-0. Bolden rolls right, looking, downfield, throwing, incomplete, out of the 40-yard line. Intended out there for Caleb Rao.
And right there, you hate to see it. I think you had a drag in an arrow route, what I call, or at least a flat route. And I think Adrian Davis turned it up, and all of a sudden you have 2 receivers there. The drag in the flat area, turning it upfield, and puts two offensive players together, which then it's hard to really, you have a conglomerate of people. It's hard to convert that. So I think they're right there. I think you like to see it. You like to see the flat, stay in the flat, stick to your assignment, and allow the drag to be open.
5 on the play clock. They got to hurry. Bolden gets the ball, deep drop with time, and now they stop the play.
Flag on the play.
Was there motion?
False start against Lakota West.
So there was indeed motion. They'll back up yet another 5. So, we had talked about this, and this is a regular ideal for us. 2 steps forward, 2 steps back.
Yeah.
It's the worst kind of cha-cha you can think of in football.
Yeah, I don't have much dance moves, but maybe I need or at least Lakota West needs about the 20 feet forward here, cha-cha, moving forward to convert this one.
2nd and 20 at the 44-yard line as they back up into their own part of the field. Twins to each side. Bolden with an empty backfield with time. Looking. Launches one. Deep down the field. It is picked off at the 15-yard line. Return man coming back up the middle out to the 15. A beauty interception out there by Jordan Jackson.
Get to learn the name, Jordan Jackson. The Jackson brothers are back there, and Jordan this time comes down with the huge grab. Big time play.
And give them credit. Too deep in the against a single receiver down on the nearest hash mark.
Yeah, I saw their man underneath. Really was a cover 4, Jeff. And Mitch, all game long, has been trying to throw it up, and that time it almost was. It was thrown kind of not in the best fashion. Don't really know how to explain it there, but it was thrown downfield. It kind of actually turned out to be a little bit of a punt here for Lakota West, but severely overthrown, which typically we've been talking about, Jeff, right, with young quarterbacks, underthrown. And that time, great play. Give Fairfield credit. Witten got it. It was almost like he was the wide receiver out there, running a 9 route, going to catch that thing.
Yeah, Jordan Jackson looked more like the receiver on that play.
Yeah, and oftentimes you don't see that, right? Where the defensive back is on top of the receiver and actually have to sprint down the field to catch it. So.
By the way, get that young man some offensive snaps, right? Didn't he not look beautiful in getting that over the shoulder?
Yeah. So Talon might say, hey, coach, throw him on the other side and let them have a go route on the other side of the field.
So while we're still waiting for them to get lined up, right? Had this been last year's team with last year's quarterback, Sawaya Ellis, who I believe has gone to the University of Toledo to play defensive back. He was a 2-way player for Fairfield the last few years. This is an opportunity where they would throw this one down the field. I don't know if you want to trust the young freshman Talon Fisher yet with the deep throw.
Yeah, I think you got to, continue to run the rock, like you said, Jeff, and I would agree with that.
Fisher with an empty backfield. He'll keep it and gain a couple of yards. Really just kind of, I think, set some momentum there for Lakota West, right, to just have them play back knowing that the run's coming.
Yeah, and I would love to see them involved. You're talking about saying somewhat conventional. What about a little whip route underneath or a little bit of a slant, or really throwing the tight end here in a little bit of a hunt route, little curl? It doesn't have to be anything super complex. I think oftentimes we see these spread offenses that you got to have guys at the bottom of the numbers and have a freshman quarterback throw it 30 yards across the field. You know what? Really, all you got to do is get 4 or 5 yards with a tight end or a little bit of a bubble route or a Tiger Now screen.
So you got 2 wide on each side. Maybe this is a good opportunity for that bubble screen. And now they motion a man and a deep drop for the quarterback, Fisher, looking long and deep, and that one is picked off at the 42-yard line. Wow! Will Barber playing center field, and turnabout is fair play on the interception.
Similar type thing, right? He had to go out and sprint and get that one above his head. The pressure that these young quarterbacks are seeing are having to make some irrational decisions of just throwing it up, trying to make something happen, trying to force it when it's not there. So right now, big conversion plays or big interceptions on both sides by both defenses.
They'll spot the ball, Fish at the 42, and what did we just say right before that play happened? Don't throw the deep ball.
Exactly.
Here's Bolton with time, looking and completing out at the 37-yard line.
There we go. That's what we were calling for up here in the box. Throw it to the inside slot, have them go run a hitch route, have them go run a hunt route, and drop it off. It's there. Let's take what's there, and maybe they're going to start to do that here.
So Jackson on the completion, and now the throw into space, and oh, nice job by Davis, slipping a man and making his way and getting a first down. Covered out there by Ray Coney. But move the chains, 1st and 10, then they'll move it out to the 27-yard line with 8:45 left to go. 7-0 Indians trying to maintain the shutout. Twins to each side, and we'll see if they play to somebody in space. Brogdon's in the backfield with Bolden. 8:30 to play. Deep drop with time. Now runs out of time. Rolls to the right. Throws to the right. Complete out at the 25-yard line to Caleb Rao. And we've not really called his name very much. A pickup of a couple.
Yeah, coming into this game, he had 9 receptions for 128 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's a guy that needs to touch the rock here in the end of this game for them to have a chance to come back and win this thing.
Pickup of 3, former quarterback for this team. He got hurt in week 3 a year ago, and Mitch Bolden has taken over ever since. Bolden with a deep drop, looking left on the half roll, throwing, and it's dropped out of the 22-yard line.
I love that play call. They boot out left, and Jeff, they have 2 guys go clear, run post routes, a post and a drag, and a guy that does a hunt route right out there in the flat. Putting Adrian Davis wide open, just has to come down with it. That would have been a big play, either setting up a 3rd and short or actually conversion of 1st down, and now you're back to a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8.
So 3rd down and a crucial
3rd and 7.
A crucial 3rd down. We see the 2nd down on the far sideline marker. So 3rd and 7. Twins to each side. Deep drop for Bolden. He throws for the home run. Davis, touchdown! From 25 yards out, we're a point away from tying it up. 7-6 on a have mercy.
Adrian Davis.
Wow. Half mercy. Mitch Bolden on a 9 route to Adrian Davis. We talked about converting a big-time throw, and right there, there's nothing better than that throw in the 4th quarter to tie this thing up.
Here's a big extra point and good. Brand new ball game, brand new score. We're tied at 7.
7:44 left to play.
Matthew Howard puts that one over for the 9th time in 12 tries. As far as extra points are concerned, 7-7. On a drive that actually looked like it actually moved a little bit. 5 plays, 42 yards, actually 58 yards. They were on their own 42. That took up about 1 minute and 45 seconds off the clock. A 25-yard connection from Mitch Bolden, who gets his 8th touchdown of the year, and he connects with Adrian Davis, who picks up his 3rd. Extra point is good. Brand new ball game, tied at 7.
Yeah, what a game. What a game. Most people who are calling for a running clock, right? It was kind of a slap in Fairfield's face that they were talking about a blowout coming into this thing, and we're going to see a ball game come down the stretch. And big time play by Mitch and Adrian there. And now we get to see, right, how eventually we felt like this was going to happen. Now, how do they respond on offense? How does Fairfield come back after leading majority of the game to come back and see how they do here in this next drive?
Ball's off the tee. You know, it's good to know that there's comedy up here in the press booth. I really love it. Kudos to our crew up here, really, truly. So Stevenson's one of the deep guys back there. I believe Jaden Mays might be the other, and Howard will kick it off from his own 40. 7:44 left to go, and right now, depending upon how much time is left, the next score might be the most important one.
Yeah, there's only a couple possessions. When you look at 8 minutes left in the game, maybe 2 possessions on each side of the ball for each offense. And what are they going to do with those? You know, that's the big question here.
Wow, and a big leg by Howard on the kickoff. This one goes into the end zone and about 5 yards deep on the fly. Partner, this one's been a beauty. Now, we didn't have a beauty last week, or even really, I mean, technically the week before did turn into a close game by a score, but it really was a game that Mason had controlled. This one has been a beauty.
Yeah, I got spoiled, I guess, in week 1. Like I said, being the rookie, we had Princeton, Hamilton come down to the last, 15 seconds, and now we're back to week 4, and we got a dandy here in Fairfield.
1st and 10 at the 20, and we'll see if they listen to me up here in the booth, or listen to us, I should say. Don't throw the deep ball when you don't have to, right?
Yeah, I would run it with Talon and also give a heavy dose of Jaden Mays here.
Well, up to this point, Mays has been the difference maker, and you can argue that he still is. They motion Stevenson, they give Mays off left tackle, and it's a loss on the play. Great job of denial. Quasi Jones, the linebacker, 6'2", 235-pound senior on the stop, tackle for loss.
Yeah, you can tell they're bringing some heat now. They're dialing it up and allowing some of these guys that it played a little bit conservative, right? The 3-4, and now they have a stand-up linebacker there with Jones, and he's coming off the edge. And those that can see him out there, I mean, he is up in the box and he's moving quick. And
they put Jones in the middle, and they send the running play out to the outside to gain back that lost yardage, and might have gotten an extra yard on top of that. So Stevenson on the end around, a pickup of 2.
They brought another blitz there. I was watching there to see what the linebackers are doing, and they blitzed number 44 there. Cam Vargas was coming through, and you're starting to see at least 2 plays in a row. You're seeing linebackers blitz heavily, and I think that's going to be something moving forward until Talon can at least complete maybe a short to middle type range ball.
They bring in the running back Malik Tate back into the backfield for Fairfield. Tied at 7, under 6.5 to play. Trips to the near side. And we'll see if they blitz here, up the middle. Vargas attacking up the middle, and they throw for the screen, and I don't know if it was dropped. Anyways, it didn't go anywhere, looking for Tate.
Not a bad play call, especially if they've been blitzing. And what you saw from Fairfield, they dialed up probably the right play, just didn't execute there.
So the middle screen doesn't work, and turnabout is fair play. This is 3 and out for Fairfield.
Yeah, you're starting to see the Lakota West experience starting to maybe come through here at the end versus the youth of the Fairfield skilled players, I should say. And all of a sudden now Lakota West quickly is going to get the ball and have a chance to come down and take the lead here.
Hunt from the 21, a high snap, and it's angled to the right. And the return man calls for it. That's Adrian Davis. And that's in the Fairfield 48. So that's a net of 27-0 on the return.
Here it is, right? All game long, Fairfield's defense, was bending but didn't break, right? And all of a sudden, one big play. How do they respond to that? As you had mentioned, Jeff, they have it inside their own 50. And Lakota West has some momentum. This is going to be a big, big possession to dictate the game here.
Absolutely. Which side will be a little stronger here on this drive? Will it be the Fairfield defense, who has been so good prior to the last touchdown, or will it be the offense of Lakota West? And the running back, Brogdon, off left tackle. He's got a first down as he rolls out to the sideline. A pickup of about 12 on the play.
Joshua Brogdon on the run.
Running behind the big fella, the junior Ohio State commit, Shabola.
And we called it, right?
Yep. I guess I was never maybe a good quarterback. I would have been maybe a better coach. But but I'm enjoying up here in the booth, and it's a little bit easier, up here being able to see it. But great play call there.
Bolden holds on to it, and he survives the initial wave to gain a few yards on the play.
Falls ahead.
Well, it's funny, right? Because, you're an ex-player and you've coached, right? So you've been up in the booth, you've been down on the sideline, and you know what it's like. I think the easy perspective is, you want to be up close to the game, right? But and the game sometimes does look so easy up here, and we can feel like we're predicting plays, like when we're calling for long passes over the middle. Twins to the near side, twins to the far side, and another give to the running back, and I don't know, he gained maybe a yard. Brogdon again with the carry.
Great play there coming in free on the blitz. I believe that was number 2, Kave Blivens.
Yep.
5'11", 182 sophomore came in free off the blitz there, dialing it up once again. They run a 3-3 stack base defense, and you're starting to see the secondary starting to creep up, and then they're also bringing the linebackers up and really starting to stack the box.
Big play on third down. 3rd and 7 at the 33. Bolden looking left, throwing deep middle, caught at the 15. Lloyd still on his feet. He's got a first down and more out to the 14-yard line. A pickup of 19.
Sophomore to sophomore, you're going to see this connection for years. A lot of comfortability there with Lloyd, with Bolden, and really right underneath. I've been looking for that all game, Jeff, and you see that space that's created right across the middle. Great ball, great execution. Lakota West inside the red zone.
1st and 10 at the they're going to spot it. They're going to say on the scoreboard it's a 12. And now the running play. The Brogdon has the angle to the corner. He's in! 13-7 West. On a 12-yard scamper off left tackle, behind the big left tackle. He's in for 6 more, 13-7. Lakota West with their first lead of the night.
Number 41, Matthew Howard, in to attempt the extra points.
I think that was about a couple minutes there. You think about it. Fairfield's up 7-0. Within about a 4 range, I think it was about 8-minute mark, 7-minute mark was the first touchdown. Really within a 3-minute stretch here, you see it going from a 7-0 game in Fairfield about to pull the upset now to Lakota West having a commanding lead with 4 minutes to go, up 14-7.
Well, and they asserted themselves on that drive. That one went 5 plays, 47 yards. It soaked up about a minute and 38 seconds off the clock. Brogdon from 12 yards out for the score. The point after is good for Brogdon. That is his 2nd score rushing the ball this year. He has scored on consecutive weeks. 14-7.
I was going to say, but I didn't say. I was going to let it breathe a little bit, but holy Shaboli.
Holy Shabola?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the left side. I mean, that's just a big fella over there, and he's getting some really, really good. That height and size of 6'6", 315 pounds, starting, I think, to wear on that left side of the defense, and they're taking advantage of it.
What's amazing is he's already committed to Ohio State. He's a class of 22 kid.
Yeah, he's imagine him next year.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he's just a kid at 6'6", 315, and this one booted, and I tell you, a rocket shot out of the end zone, touchback.
I know why Buffalo Wings and Rings wants Lakota West coming there with Chatterboxes. They got a left tackle that could eat about 50 wings, with Shabola there. But needless to say, let's get back to the Fairfield offense, and they've been really, really, really stagnant in the strength of the front seven of Lakota West has continued to make their presence known. The big question is here, can they break one loose? I don't see them really making an effective use of passing down the field, but they're going to have to break one with their legs here.
Malik Tate is in the backfield with Talon Fisher. 4:24 left to go to the conclusion of this one. They motion Mays, and the quarterback holding on, and now he tosses it for Mays on a little lob pass. It goes really nowhere out to the sideline.
RPO right there, run pass option, and there wasn't a lot of options. Usually want to see run pass, and like I said, the O is the option, and his option to pass or run there was pretty much taken away. So big once again. Coach Kraus this morning was talking about, we got to get in winning down football, meaning second and medium, third and short. We can't have the first down being a negative play, and right there we saw that.
Trips to the near side. 3:42 left to go. Fisher looking left, throwing left, and it's picked off! This is pick 6. Alex Afari makes it 20-7.
Intercepted by number 2, Alex Afari, who will run it back for a Lakota West touchdown.
The doors have been blown off here in this fourth quarter. 20 unanswered, and we have a down player right around the 10-yard line out on the far hash mark. Easy pickings for Alex Afari, a pick 6 tonight for the man who's not considered the primary cornerback on this team.
Yeah.
Amazing. His second pick of the night, or of the year.
Yeah, his second pick of the year, Jeff, and we saw it pregame. This kid has an exponential, I'm using one of your verbiages here, talent on the rise. And if you're a Division I program, I don't know where you are, but there should be a lot more offers in this kid's mailbox. He is a special talent. That one was pretty easy, though, to be honest. It was thrown late, behind and high, right there, kind of like a pop-up for an infielder, and he was able to get in his breadbasket and take it for 6. Great to see Talon's okay. You hate to see a young quarterback, especially a freshman and a guy that plays his heart out to go down there.
By the way, you know who can relate to him best on this field? It's the quarterback on the other sideline, Mitch Bolton, who had started as a freshman a year ago. I mean, to be in that position in varsity play in a conference as tough as the GMC is really something. So when you get, as a quarterback, so young, go down, right? You can't, if you're on the other sideline, you have to kind of think that the heart goes out to your opposing number at that point. Howard on the point after is good. 21-7 on the pick 6.
West now leads 21-7.
Unofficially a 32-yard interception return for 6 for Alex Afari. His second INT of the year, his first score of the year.
And his brother goes where?
Miami.
Yeah, every broadcast, being a Miami former football Red Hawk here, I got to get my my Miami pitch. But yeah, his brother is it's football's in his family, and I think Alex will have plenty of opportunities moving forward as well.
Well, I will tell you this. So it's funny because this is week 4 of this season, right? The first time I saw Lakota West was week 4 of last year, and as we play upon the number 4. In one half, not one game, in one half, the first half of that game, I saw David Afari score not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 times. Once through the air and 3 on the ground. So Miami is a hell of a player that they need to go watch.
Yeah, the future is bright. And really, we talk about all of the Ohio colleges like Ohio State, UC, and Miami, all the talent that you and I have seen, Jeff, and all the GMC and the GCL and the ECC and the SWAC. There's an abundant amount of talent here, and it's fun to watch these kids play on Friday night.
Howard with another boomer.
Another one
8 yards deep into the end zone, touchback.
Man, he wish he would have played last night for the Browns or Bengals. Goodness gracious. Guys pounding it through the end zone. It'll be interesting to see here, looking to see if Talon's going to come back after getting banged up. What do they do? Try to try to protect him or put in a different quarterback.
Well, we're seeing for Kieran Love. He'll take the snaps at quarterback. So he's the backup on this team. All we can tell you is that he's a sophomore. So he'll get it with Tate to his right, deep drop, looking left, throwing left, and this one nearly picked off again by Afari. As this one, he defended it incredibly well, playing the ball and the receiver, Nate Hanna.
Hey, he comes out, though. Give him credit. First play after not playing all game long with 3 minutes left, throws a comeback or an out on the outside against the guy that just took a pick six. Nice little ball there, maybe a little bit earlier, but you expect that with the guy that's just coming out for his first snap.
Trips to the top side, a single to the near side. They look right on the pass, and it's complete out at the 26-yard line.
And those that are Love is a sophomore as well, so they got a couple young quarterbacks here.
So they go trips to the near side. Love with 3rd down and 4 gets the ball with time, and now he steps up into the pocket. He won't get anywhere. Wrapped up and cleaned up there by Jackson Kuwatch. 3 and out. Or you would, I guess it's going to be 3 and out, given the situation, a backup quarterback and how deep you are in your own territory, even though you're down by 14.
Yeah, your heart really goes out for these Fairfield Indians. Those that are going to watch the highlights probably this game or watch the news clippings are going to see a 21-7 game or a 28-7 game, and really that doesn't dictate the score. Final score won't dictate really how this game was played.
Hollywood Brown at his own 45 outside the hash mark gets it, and he falls to the ground, getting it right around the 45-yard line. So nothing on the return after a punt of 29.
If you're a Fairfield fan, you know that, hey, we might be 1-3 after this week, but what we saw here tonight was the future is really bright for this Fairfield Indians team. They're young, they have a lot of heart, they're well coached, and I think the best is ahead for this Fairfield team. It's a tough loss here tonight, but they're gonna continue to compete this year and next year. Really look for this team to compete at the GMC top.
Bolden calls for it. He'll give to the running back into space, out on the far side, across the midfield stripe, out to the 48-yard line. Cameron Good on the pickup of about 7 on the play.
Something that's interesting to really, analyze from a Lakota West perspective. They got a slew of backs. Really looked at Brogdon, Miller, Good, and Brown. They got a lot of options. A couple juniors there, 3 of them are juniors, with Brogdon being a senior. They have a lot of depth, and you're starting to see this also throughout a game start to wear out on top of the strength of that offensive line.
2nd and 3. Is this Miller this time? And now we got a flag on the play. And this may be a first down carry depending upon that. And it's not 25, it's 15. Trent Lloyd on the end around. But we'll wait for the flag. And it's against Lakota West, so this one will come back.
I really like this Lloyd kid. He reminds me a lot like a Julian Edelman, Jarvis Landry type. Those are familiar with slot wide receivers. Wes Welker if you're a little bit older. But he is, once again, he's a little bit like Jaden Mays. Really, really for his size and scope. He plays wiry football, I call it. Really quick, uses his body for positioning, great hands, and just seems to make plays. I think the future is extremely bright, as I'd mentioned earlier. That the Lloyd and Bolden combination is going to be potent.
2nd and 14. And again, Good coming out to the far side. Couldn't find the corner and gained maybe a couple on the play.
Something we were looking at is potentially the next couple weeks, right? What does Lakota West have? I know they got a couple big games coming up here in the next couple weeks, and we're going to see potentially a Mason West Week 6 game. If Mason, who is, I believe, still winning, it's a close game, 21-13, but that Week 6 game could end up being 2 undefeated teams in the GMC facing off.
By the way, as you mentioned off that score, you know where you're going to get all the scores tonight? Right here on Chatterbox Sports. GMC.com, the app, and right here on the platform, it'll be the box score coming up at 10:40 tonight. Our main man, our producer tonight, Trace, will be there, as long as the Mighty Mouse will be there, and the silent one who we're trying to free tonight, Sean Spurlock. Free Spurlock.
Yeah, if I can figure out on the way home on Route 4 here, if I can get a hashtag Free Spurlock t-shirt, I wonder if they'll let me call into the show. I don't know. They only like winning coaches, not winning broadcasters. So we'll see if the Free Spurlock, you know what, we just got to go through Sean. That's what we got to do. We got to say, we got to be calling and texting him, Free Spurlock.
So Bolton out of the gun on 3rd down. Deep drop, looking for the home run shot, and it is too deep. Right down the middle, looking for 5, and that's Adrian Davis. That would have been an exclamation point. Instead, it's 4th down, and they'll punt.
Oof, that doesn't make me happy if I'm coach. If I'm the Fairfield team, to see 21-7, 3rd down where you can just run out the clock. That's an interesting play call there.
Well, I kind of get it, right? I mean, it does seem like it's unsportsmanlike to a certain degree. But this offense has not been in rhythm for 3 quarters and change.
Sure. And you want to give, once again, you want to see if young Mitch Bolton can make throws, right? And it's still a meaningful throw. And, it's just one of those opportunities that continue. He's overthrown consistently, right? If he's going to look back, like you said, tail of the tape tomorrow morning when he's watching film, he's going to – we talked about this with Quincy Sim Marshall from Hamilton about how significantly at times he underthrows often. Mitch is kind of the reverse, which you don't see this out of young quarterbacks, overthrowing. So it's going to be really interesting to see his progression as he continues to get well coached, and obviously great coaching staff over there on the west sidelines. See how things progress in his career.
It'll be Kieran Love back at quarterback. By the way, that last punt, 37 yards, nothing on the return. 1:17 left to go to the conclusion of this one. Love with Tate in the backfield. They throw it to the left side and is complete out of the 25, and a flag on the play.
On the field, number 4, Kieran Love's
Finding Trent Stevenson on the play.
Trent Stevenson.
We'll see what the flag is with 1:12 left to go.
I don't know if I've seen that. A 4-yard throw with a pass interference.
Pass interference against Lakota.
We're seeing a lot of different things tonight here.
Well, typically I'm thinking, it's in that zone where you're thinking about holding. Well, I guess you move the chains, right? Well, there's an old adage, and it applies a lot to sports, I find. And I guess you can apply it to life, right? But the old adage, especially from a broadcast standpoint, is if you hang around long enough, you'll see just about everything. Pass deflected, and nobody's home out at the 42-yard line.
Something to take note, those that are following the GMC closely, which hopefully you are, Lakota East is still up by 9 late in the 4th quarter, 28-19. That'd be a big upset on the road by East. But does that surprise you? Sorry to talk over you there, partner, but does that surprise you? It doesn't really surprise me as much.
Not from a talent standpoint. And honestly, the way that some of the bad luck that has happened to Rick Haynes the last 3 weeks, last week excluded, right? Here's a deep drop by Love, and he'll cut up front out towards the 40-yard line, and that's where he'll land there after a gain of 6. So to finish up that point on Rick Haynes, he's run into some bad luck the last few weeks, and I'll tell you, they're due for a win. And are we calling a win for one of our guys?
Wow, this is legendary.
What's that?
Our main man, Trace Fowler. And of course, because we were saying Free Spurlock, he's trying to get some kudos here. He called that upset. So if you look on the pick'em, Trace Fowler, you can follow him on Twitter at
CBoxDoc.
Yeah, thank you. At CBoxDoc. That's a little bit of a mouthful there, but he called the upset. Wow, the 3-0 Princeton Vikings. He had the 0-3 Lakota East.
Take a bow.
Wow.
Take a bow, partner.
Yeah, let's just end the broadcast right now. Wow. I asked earlier how well, how he – I wanted some knowledge nuggets about this game, and, obviously he has them all, because that's one heck of a pick there.
3rd and 4. With 1 minute left to go here in this ball game. Love in relief of Talon Fisher, got knocked out a couple series ago. Deep drop, stepping up, and now harassed and sacked back at the 36-yard line. team party out there, but Anish Fias, the right end, was prominent in getting the stop there.
Yeah, their defensive line pinning their ears back late here in the fourth quarter with a new quarterback, another young quarterback, trying to throw the ball down the field against a very tough secondary. But man, once again, Geoff, I think it's a tough game for Fairfield to swallow this one, and it's a wake-up call once again for the West Firebirds, Lakota West Firebirds, to know that any night they come out on a Friday night in the GMC, anyone can beat them.
Brown will let it roll past them out inside the 20 and down to the 15.
Down at the 15.
So that's a nice punt there. 45 yards officially, nothing on the return. With 9 seconds left to go, we got one more knee coming on up, and this should do it. So I will say this. If this game was held to 3 quarters, we'd be talking about a Fairfield win and how they pitched a shutout tonight. I'm a little shocked to see 21 come on the board in the fourth.
Yeah, and that was all within a couple minutes. You know, I mean, momentum, we talk about every week, is a fickle thing. And on Friday night, once that momentum starts, and once that bus gets moving, per se, things can happen quick, and tonight it did.
So it's the victory formation. Bolden under center. He'll take the knee, and that is it.
Bolden will take a knee, and that'll end the game. Fairfield
A come-from-behind win tonight for Lakota West as they improved to 4-0, 21 unanswered in the fourth quarter tonight. As they win it here in Fairfield, defeating the Indians 21-7. Fairfield falls to a record of 1-3 on the season. Your impressions on this game that we just saw? 48 really interesting minutes.
Yeah, it was a very entertaining game. Hopefully those at home really enjoyed it as well. What a battle by the Fairfield Indians. Well coached, great heart, great grit, and at the end of the day, a very talented Lakota West team came on very strong in the fourth quarter and got the job done.
Before we get to the headlines play of the game, let's get your star of the game tonight. Who is it for you tonight?
Yeah, for me, it's number 5 on the Lakota West Firebirds, Adrian Davis. I felt like he obviously had the huge touchdown and grab, a little bit under duress there with a guy trailing him, that huge touchdown that really, really got them going, passed by Mitch Bolden. And he touched the ball in a lot of different ways tonight in jet sweeps, and I give it to the player of the game, to Adrian Davis.
And now it's time for the headlines play of the game. Be sure to check in with us on chatterboxsports.com, the app, and on Twitter for tonight's play of the game, brought to you by Headlines. Who do you have?
I'm not going to give it to his partner in crime, the Hollywood, but I'm going to give it to Alex Afari on that pick 6. Obviously, that was a way for them. Not only did Adrian Davis get the ball rolling, Afari then started to close the deal.
Partner, I don't know about you, and I know that, we saw a defensive struggle for literally 3+ quarters tonight, and for it to turn offensive was something that we didn't expect. We didn't see the paradigm shift coming, but it happened, and it happened very suddenly, and it gave us kind of a very full game to look at tonight. I don't know about you, but I was entertained.
Yes. Let them entertain us, right? And that was an incredible Friday night. We love to watch high school football here on Chatterbox Sports. This is the place to be, and nothing better than a Friday night and a battle of a comeback of the number 1 Lakota West Firebirds against the Fairfield Indians.
Partner, it was fun. Can't wait to see you for week 5.
Can't wait either.
Again, be sure to log in to chatterboxsports.com, the Chatterbox Sports app, and on Twitter for the headlines play of the game. Stay tuned for the box score across the platform at 10:40 tonight. Reed, Sean, and Trace will take you home. Again, the final tonight, 21-7, Lakota West improves to 4-0. For Kyle Decker and our producer, Trace Fowler, I'm Geoff Kim. Good night from Fairfield.